There we go. What's up, babies? We're just gonna pretend like my camera was on the whole time and that I didn't forget like I always do. You'd think that one of these days I would just remember it, but I feel like at this point in time I've accidentally cemented in my own brain the idea that there isn't that like I've cemented into my brain the habit of not turning on the camera, so that has become the habit, even though that's the wrong habit to have. At any rate, here we are. Welcome. I'm EnviroBoy. This is my channel. We're gonna try something new today. We're going to try and see if I can just do 4 straight hours of writing. I've been thinking about how I want to structure my my streams and everything like that, and I've just been thinking I just want to try. I don't know if it'll work for me. I don't know if I'll like it. I don't know if I'll stick with it, but I wanted to try just doing like focusing on one thing during my normal little like 4-hour sessions. Right, I wanted to just kind of, I want to try just focusing on one thing at a time for these sessions. Just sitting down and just writing, or sitting down and just gaming, rather than try to break it up. And I don't know if that'll work. You know, I can see some ways in which it'd be good for people, so that way they know, you know, if it's a writing day and that's what they're interested in, they can just like hang out for, you know, all those hours. Or maybe people will not like it because that means fewer days when they get to enjoy some of the writing. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but we're going to try it. We're just gonna give it a shot. You know, that's kind of the only way to really ultimately get to the bottom of these things, is to try it and see what it's like. So we're gonna try it and we're gonna see if that works. The thing that I'm hoping, for my sake, is it'll make it a little bit easier when I'm doing my writing and everything. I'm hoping it'll make it a bit easier for me to stay focused and to get a bit more done and make more progress, because I'm the type of person, when it comes to, particularly when it comes to being productive about something, I'm the type of person who, I work best when I can get a little momentum going. Right? Like some people are really good at doing like the, what do they call it? Like the tomato timer thing or whatever. There's like it comes, it's not an English thing. It's like a pomodoro or something, or some sort of, I don't remember the actual title, but the concept is like you do like 20 minutes of productivity followed by 5 minutes of goofing off or something like that. And some people's brains work that way, where they can get those like micro rewards. I'm kind of the opposite, where I work best when I have a big chunk of time that I can sit there and get going. Because usually what'll happen to me is it takes me a minute or 20 to really get myself going. But then once I go, that momentum carries me, and I can be very productive, very focused on what I'm working on for that big chunk of time. You know, that's how I prefer to, like, I don't like planning something if I don't have at least an hour to work on it, preferably even more. So my hope is that by doing longer sessions, even though it'll be the same number of hours, right? Because it'll still be, rather than being, you know, with writing, rather than being 4 2-hour sessions throughout the week, my hope is that if I do it this way, where I've got 2 4-hour sessions, yeah, it's the same number of hours, but I'm hoping I can be a bit more productive with them. So we're just going to give it a shot. We're just going to try it. We're just going to try, and we're going to see what happens. Going to see what happens. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But, you know, hey, well, we can give these things a shot. And now that I'm, you know, and the big thing for me is I finished, you know, it's been actually, you know, other than last night, it's been over a week since the last time I streamed. It's almost been, yeah, it's been over a week. Because I didn't stream at all last week. I didn't stream at all last week. Does anyone else know that song? It goes, it doesn't actually go like that. It goes, I couldn't sleep at all last night. Anyways, I didn't stream last week. Because I was just taking a week off. You know, I got through what was probably the biggest challenge and one of the biggest landmarks in my life personally, which was I had myself a Muay Thai kickboxing fight. Didn't go great, got knocked out, but I still went through it. I still did it. And like, that was the point of it for me, was to, like, honestly, it's kind of interesting too, because like the fact that could happen is exactly why that was so important to me. So I was really glad that I got that done. Hey, Lady Ishka, lurk away, my friend. But yeah, like that was, you know, it was a really important landmark in my life. And so I took a week off to just kind of enjoy that, as well as recover from, you know, a head injury, as one might expect I needed to do, considering how it did go. But you know, we made it through that, and now that I'm kind of past that landmark in my life, I'm ready to focus on a few other things, including, trying to figure out if there are different ways for me to approach streaming and for me to do my stream that are better for me and all that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna kind of experiment. We're just gonna have some fun with it for a little while, and until we settle on exactly what the right situation is. And maybe that means I'll just go back to how I was doing it before, or maybe it means we'll stick with this idea of doing like, just like picking one thing to stream for the day and just sticking with that. So today just being writing, we're just gonna stick with it. So we're just gonna give it a shot. We're gonna experiment, and it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time because we're gonna get some good creative writing in. What we're gonna do. But I suppose if that's what I'm going to insist on us planning on doing, maybe I should actually like get us into it. So let me bring us over and let's go ahead and work on some stuff. Whoosh. There we are. Okay, so here's our stuff. Man, it's been a minute. Because even like the week beforehand when I was streaming, I pretty much just streamed video games. Pretty much just trying to keep myself relaxed right before my fight. So it's been a hot second since we worked on anything writing wise. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good to get back to it. It already feels really good to be sitting here getting ready to do some good writing. I'm stoked about this. Hell yeah. So I think what I'd like to do, since we got all kinds of time, is I'm going to start off with just working on our little project that we've been doing periodically, where we're sort of creating a rune type of system for D&D for me and my players to use. I think I'm going to just like kick things off by making a couple runes / magical items and all that kind of stuff is what I think I want to do. And just kind of get them creative juices flowing a little bit. Get ourselves kind of in the mindset of being creative, being in a D&D state of mind. A D&D state of mind. That is kind of its own state of mind, isn't it? Like, you think differently when you're playing or writing or just working with D&D than you do in reality. So we're going to get ourselves in that D&D state of mind. I want to just work on creating a few magical things, and I feel like that could be a good like warm-up, so to speak. The other thing that's nice about having a good long chunk of time, we can really like kind of let our attention and our focus wander between related subjects, right? Rather than having to stay focused on one thing, we kind of have the time and the freedom to wander around and the freedom to sort of mentally warm up, which is something that I never really take the time to do, but it stands to reason that warming up is probably a good thing to do. I mean, you do it when you're working out. Why not when you're thinking out? When you're being creative, when you're working your brain out. That's the one. Well, let's do that a little bit here. I'm just gonna have us kind of go down the alphabetical list here, right? We're working on our abjuration level 2. I don't remember if there are any more level 2 abjuration spells, but we're gonna find out, and if not, then we'll move on to the level 3s and we'll just kind of do it that way. Seems like a fun enough way to do it. So let's pull up our abjuration spells, and then let's pull up our spell level 2nd. Filter those bad boys here. Okay, digression though. I don't know about anyone else. I don't know if anyone else heard this. I don't know if anyone else is on the same wavelength as me as this, or about this. But hey, what's it called? Hold on. What's the one thing? Yeah, this one right here. Spelljammer. Is anyone else losing their mind excited about Spelljammer? I am super excited about Spelljammer. Okay, like I'm gonna be real, because when they first announced it on like April Fool's Day. I thought it was a goof. I thought they were goofing us when they first like announced it. I thought like, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool. Oh, it's funny. And then I moved on. And then there was like a confirmation that it was indeed something they're releasing. And I lost my mind. You could ask any of my players. I am a huge space nerd. So any excuse to in lore, following the lore as it exists for D&D. Any excuse to have our fantasy D&D characters go to space, just losing my mind over here. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. I'm so stoked about that. Like, I'm not usually someone who pre-orders things or anything like that, but it's going to be hard to resist not pre-ordering any sort of special edition box sets of Spelljammer that they come out with, because oh my gosh, that is everything I love about everything imaginary. It's like space fantasy. Like, that's what Star Wars is, and Star Wars has always been one of my favorite sci-fi things. It's really just space wizards, and I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. So anyway, I digress. I digress. Hey, Gabby. Yes, Spelljammer. Thank you. Like, I'm so stoked about it. I'm so stoked about it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about it. I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm doing well. Feeling good and pretty well recovered from my kickboxing fight and everything. So I'm feeling good. Yeah, no, just it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great when it happens. Once it drops. Oh my goodness. Anywho, warding bond. Let's get ourselves kind of in that creative mindset here by making a couple runes / magical items / what have you. Let's just get ourselves thinking in that direction here. So, spell as written. This spell wards a willing creature you touch and creates a mystic connection between you and the target until the spell ends. While the target is within 60 feet of you, it gains a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws, and has its resistance to all and it has resistance to all damage. Also, each time it takes damage, you take the same amount of damage. Spell ends if you drop to 0 hit points, or if you and the target become separated by more than 60 feet. It also ends if the spell is cast again on either of the connected creatures. It also dismiss the spell as an action. Okay, I already know exactly how I'm going to structure the existing magical item for this. I already know exactly what I'm going to do for this. Let's go ahead and copy this. Bring this over to our little notebook. We're going to put this on... We're just going to put it on... We're just going to say on any item. Any item. We can just kind of put it there. And we'll say on any item... I'm gonna phrase it this way. On any item that can be split. So, like, the thought is, like, a pair of gloves, right? Or, I don't know, like, if they have magnets or something. I don't know. How do they work? Just, like, any item. Because the thought that I have, here's the item that I immediately am thinking of, right? Because it's bonding you and the target. My immediate thought is one of them BFF lockets, right? Those BFF things where it's like, you know, 2 pieces of a puzzle, right? And each person takes one of the charms. Or it can be like 2 halves of the heart that, like, they go together, right? That's my immediate thought. It's like the locket of soul bond or some nonsense like that. That it's like, and it's totally the type of thing that would be super popular among the tweens of the D&D world, right? The middle schoolers that, like, have their first boyfriend and girlfriend, right, or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, it's like the D&D version of a promise ring. Is exactly what my thought is there. It's exactly what my headspace goes to there, and I think that's what I'm going to. I think that's what I'm going to commit to, and so that's what the idea for these items are, is that it would be like so you could do something a bit more practical, like gloves, you know, warding gloves or whatever, and it, like, yeah, and it would and so, like, one person would take it, or take one of them, right, and, like, there would be just this bond that exists between the 2 items. Yeah, that's how I feel it. So it's like any item that can be, I'm gonna say like, we're gonna put it in quotes here, split. I'm gonna say like gloves or socks, right? So it's like each person can have one of them. Eating summer sausage, that sounds delicious. Also a little suggestive depending on phrasing, but it does sound delicious. Let's see here. Yeah, I've been pretty loose with my diet as of late. Now that I'm not weight cutting, I've been pretty loose with my diet. And I plumped back up from, I weighed in at 152 for my fight, and I plumped back up to 165 in 1 week, from not having to weight cut anymore. It's a glorious thing. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm trying to rein it back in and not yo-yo quite so hard. We're gonna try and rebalance that closer to a 155, 160 level again. Well, boy, oh boy, I had a good week of eating anything and everything within sight, and it was spectacular. It was good times. Good times were had all around. So okay, so any item that can be split. Let's go ahead and paste our crapola here. That stuff. These to be bulleted. And then let's dive these down a level there. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so this spell, so we'll say these, say this enchanted item wards, I'm just gonna say 2 willing creatures, 2 willing creatures that each take 1 part of the item and creates a mystic connection between them. Say between them. Until the spell ends. Yeah, and it's like you putting it on will trigger it, and then it'll be able to work once a day. It's like then it wears off and it has to recharge like any magical thing. Excuse me. While the target is within, we'll say we'll just say targets are within 60 feet of one another. They gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws, and they have resistance to all damage. Also, each time they take damage, the other takes the same amount of damage. So it's like it's a little extra powerful because both of them, rather than just the target getting the advantages, but like, so both of them get the advantages, which adds a bit of power to it, but then both of them are taking the damage that gets taken, right? So it's like, it's kind of a trade-off. It's like they both get bolstered, but they both are all going to take extra damage based on who is taking damage, right? So both of them are taking damage. So it's kind of a trade-off, right? It's a trade-off based on what players are looking for or anything like that. Spell ends. We'll say the spell ends if either drops to 0 hit points, or if they become separated by more than 60 feet. Also ends if the spell is cast again, either of the connected creatures. For this one, we'll just say also ends if the object is removed by either of the connected creatures. The object is removed by either of the connected creatures. And also dismiss the spell as an action. Yeah, you can't just like choose to end the thing. I'm going to say actually I'm just going to say activated once per day by putting on the item and simultaneously saying the command word, right? So it's like both participants need to like activate it. And now I'm imagining Freaky Friday where they have like magical fortune cookies and trade places. I wish I could trade places with you for just one day. Oh my gosh. The Locket of Freaky Friday. That's got to be the magical item, right? I mean, that's got to be it. Not exactly Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday, they just flat out change bodies. But the essence, the concept is there. And I immediately love it. Anyway, okay. All right, let's go ahead and create the sample, the example item here. I'm gonna go ahead and do warding lockets. I'm gonna say popular among wealthy teenagers looking for a promise ring type of experience. These lockets are let's see, are, how do I want to phrase this? Are paired items that typically fit together to make a single item. Let's see, 2 puzzle pieces or 2 halves of a heart, for example. Fit together to make a single item. 2 puzzle pieces or 2 when the items, we'll say when the lockets are split between the 2 wearers, the spell is activated so that both users share share the benefits and drawbacks of the spell. Boom, there we go. I just love the idea of like just like two little halfling teenagers that like have, you know, rich parents that will buy them these items, and they just like, they go to prom together with them, and it's like they think it's just this like the sweetest thing ever, and they're like, it's 100% symbolic, right? Because they don't live lives in which they would need to worry about, you know, getting attacked or being harmed and feeling each other's pain beyond just like one of them stubbing a toe and the other one being like, oh no, you stubbed your toe, I'm sorry. That's just what my thought is immediately, and it cracks me up. It cracks me up. I love it. I love it. I think it's perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect. Okay, so the spell ends with justice point. Perfect. Okay, I think that's all it needs. Now we just if these items are sentient, and I immediately have some thoughts on exactly how this will go if the items are sentient. Like, it just like, for me, the sentience is immediately going to impact how like functional the relationship between the 2 halves are, right? So if it's good, it's this very like sweet and cooperative relationship, and if it's lawful, they're like, they set healthy boundaries and both and encourage their wearers to follow said boundaries. And if it's evil, it's a much more like I don't know, like it's a much more opposites attract type of relationship where they fight all the time, but they can't be apart from each other. And if it's chaotic, they just like it's just like this very, very impulsive relationship that they just like do whatever they feel like. I don't know. That's what my thoughts are. This entire thing is taking on a complete and utter mind of its own, and I love it. I love it. Okay, so if they're good, yeah, I think, yeah. I also have to figure out exactly what the benefit, because if it's good, it does something good for the players or for the users. If it's evil, it does something bad for them, or it does something bad for enemies. Okay, all right. I have an idea. The 2 halves are very cooperative and caring. When the wearers are closer, actually, here's what we'll say: when the wearers are adjacent to one another, they each gain a +2 to their AC. Boom. So it's like together they're even more protective of each other, and they can help warn each other of incoming danger and everything. And it's great. And then if it's evil, the two halves revel in making others miserable. When the wearers are how do I want to do this? Because my like you know how there's like those like it's almost it's not even necessarily that they're like evil, right? They just like it's almost more like that type of just like cloyingly adorable couple that's just like so coupley that it's gross and uncomfortable to be around them. Like that's more what I'm thinking of that this would do, that these items would do. Like the two halves, so the two halves revel in, so I'm gonna say making others uncomfortable when the wearers are adjacent to one another. Enemies have disadvantage when attacking either, right? Because they're just like so repulsed by how, like I say, like how cloyingly, disgustingly cutesy the couple is. And I think there's something beautiful about making that a tangible, measurable thing in the rules of D&D, because we all know we feel that. We can all feel that when you're just around those people, right? We all feel it. So lawful, I feel like, so lawful, I always try to have like a lawful sentience be that it's more so it just does a more focused impact on the users, and then chaotic is it's a more widespread. So I kind of want to say okay, here's what I want to do. The items are determined to help one another's users when taking damage. When taking damage, the direct target takes half damage, while the connected party takes one. It would be 1.5 times. It wouldn't be double. It'd be 1.5 times damage, right? Because they take another half of that damage. So it's like they're taking extra damage. So it's like you could almost use that if it's lawful. It's like they're like extra extremely protective of one another. So they'll focus that damage, and one of them will take more damage, than the other one. Kind of what the thought is, and it's like this weird thing, and it'd be fun to see how players could like navigate that dynamic to a certain degree. And then as far as chaotic goes, so it's like it'd be less focused. How could I phrase this? How could I turn this into sort of a chaotic thing? Let me see here. Spell and also each time they take damage within 60 feet of one another. Actually, you know what? Here, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna do this a little differently. We'll say the items are extra attached to one another. We'll say when users are within 30 feet of one another. We'll say, let's see here. What could be the added benefit here? I kind of actually want to just say when users are within 30 feet of one another, enemies have disadvantage. Well, no, it's too much like the other one. Actually, here we go. When users are within 30 feet of one another, they each have advantage on attack rolls. Right, so it's like it's almost like being together, like when the ward is like that close, when they're that close to each other, they get like that extra bolster of like confidence and courage and power and all, and however you want to phrase it, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. And then for chaotic, we'll say the items are, because it's like it would be widespread, so I almost want to say like it's here's what we'll do. The items are able to connect at further distances if users are between 60 and 90 feet from each other, still have +1 bonus to AC, but like nothing else. So it's like it's still diminished, but even at a bit further apart, they're still like looking after each other, is kind of the idea there. So it's like it's a bit broader of the focus rather than a bit narrow of the focus, right? Kind of, it's a loose fit. It's a loose fit. It's all loose fit. It's all just about trying to be creative. So there we go. We'll do that. That's great. That's excellent. And now, if it's cursed, and I immediately have an idea about what it would be like if it's cursed. So the extra powerful benefit here is going to be what I want to say is the items bond the users at an even more fundamental level. When users are within range of one another, each gains an, well, let's see here. Each has advantage on attacks, but disadvantage. Oh, wait, no. I want to say it has advantage on attacks, and enemies have disadvantage on attacks. Although, actually, you know what I want to say? When users are within, I want to change this to within 30 feet of one another. So they got to be close. But then the drawback is these items cannot stand to be separated. If players are more than 90 feet from one another, attacks have disadvantage, while enemy attacks have advantage. So it's like they have to be close to each other. If they separate at any point, they're like there's they're going to be at disadvantage too. And the other thing is, must be removed magically. If players try to remove the items, or if they spend more than an hour further than 90 feet apart, each will take a level of exhaustion. And it's like the thought is that it would even like bolster, right? So it's like add another layer or another level of exhaustion for each hour, for each additional hour spent apart. So it's like you basically become conjoined at the hip. Like you have to be next to each other, which I think would be really interesting, because I could like I always say with the cursed items, my hope is always to try and set it up so that it's cursed in a way that like there's enough of a benefit that people will still feel inclined to use the items despite the potential drawbacks. And I think this is a really good one, because I could see parties thinking like, oh, well, we always travel together, it's great, we'll just use this, and enjoying it until that one time when they need to separate and they need to go about their own things, right? And they need to do their own stuff, and suddenly like, oh no, we've got a problem here, right? And I think that would be really interesting. I think that'd be really interesting. So I could see this as being a really good balance for a curse there. So I like it. I like it. I'm content with that. I'm content with that. That's a good one. I think that's a really good one. Okay, I need to run to the bathroom really quick, because one thing that I'm doing, despite not trying to weight cut, I am trying to make sure I stay hydrated. As one, because I felt good while I was doing it. Maybe not quite the same level of hydrated that I was doing during my actual weight cut, but you know, enough that I'm trying to make a conscious effort to drink more fluids. So naturally, I have to go to the bathroom a lot. And the other reason that I'm staying hydrated is I'm recovering from a head injury. So, you know, being hydrated is good. So please forgive me. This is going to be the first of probably many bathroom breaks. But we're going a long time, so it's understandable it's going to happen. So I will be right back. I'll leave you guys here with some music, and we will, once I get back, we'll keep going. There we go. Okay. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it always. Always appreciate it, as does my bladder. All right. So, yeah, warding bond. I like that one. I think that's a fun one. I think that's a really fun one. See, this would be a fun one to use, like, against my players, too. Right? Giving, like, almost, like, I can almost see myself giving, like, as part of a boss battle, giving the bosses, like, the cursed version of this item. That our players can then find it, right? And they can use it, but then the bosses will use it against each other, or use it against the players. They can have that to, like, bolster each other. And it's like, it'd be cool. It'd be fun to do it that way, too. Because you could have it as part of, like, the mission, you know, or the chapter or whatever leading up to players encountering that boss. You could have it as part of the challenge where they can learn that they use these items and, like, give players the opportunity to think about trying to separate them, right? And, like, you could set up an arena that has ways to do that, right? Like, if you had it be multi stories, you know, multiple stories high or something like that, like they're fighting in a tower or what have you. So it's like players could try and, like, get one of them on the lift up to the higher levels to, like, separate them and take advantage of that or something. That would be really interesting. Be a really fun one. I kind of like that idea. I'll have to shove that one in the back pocket and maybe use that one of these. I like it. I like it. At any rate, I think that's the last of our level 2 spells here, isn't it? It is. It is the last of our level 2 spells. But rather than doing another one, actually, I'm going to have us go ahead and switch gears over and start working on the campaign that we've been doing. Because I'm itching to get working on that again. It's been a few weeks since we worked on this. And I'm stoked to get back to it. So let me bring us to our atlas here. Perfect. This is the one. I do know. So just because, you know, busy life and needing to occupy myself, I did fill out a couple more of these rooms with the details here just for this first section, just so we could kind of get past this first section and start working on the next sections of this dungeon here. But we do need to map them out. So I'm going to go ahead and finish making our map here. And then we'll dive into the next portion of this, the next subchapter of this chapter of this campaign. There's a lot going on there. A lot going on there, but that's how I like it. So there's our stuff. Yeah, okay. Let's open... I need to get us into... Let me find... section here. I believe this is the one. Yes, this is the one that we need. Perfect. So this is our first section here. Yeah. Yep, this is what we need. Perfect. Okay. So, we need to go ahead and just decorate our rooms 13 and 14 here to finish this off. And then I'm going to have us throw a little bit of an audible. Normally I like to just kind of go things in order. Right, so we're doing subchapter 1 here. And then normally I would just go on to subchapter 2 and just kind of work on it in narrative order. But I'm going to have us do it a little differently because we're reusing part of this map. Like our players are going to revisit this area later. So there's a couple things that I want to do to sort of situate that and get that set up as needed. Yeah. So that's perfect. This will work. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some of these things decorated. So room 13 here. Okay, yes. So we have a puzzle here. I can just kind of quickly go over it. So what we've written here is when players enter this area, we'll read to them. Entering this shop immediately allows you to see that this must have once been some sort of woodworker's shop. Small trinket-sized toys sit on one shelf. Small wind instruments sit on another. A few tables with various wood-carving instruments on them line the back wall, and the smell of wood shavings still permeates this place even all of these years later. On the back wall, there is what appears to be a collection of wood block letters that hang on the wall. They are in this order. OTTFFSS. Next to the last letter is a square spot on the wall that is less dirty than the rest of the wall around it. Below is a stack of 5 wooden blocks the size of the spot on the wall. Each block has a different letter on it. A, E, I, U, and Y. And so that's the puzzle. And so the idea is like it's set up. It's like I'm trying to describe just like there's like almost like, you know, small picture frame sized wood carvings that each have like a letter on them, right? And when you put and if you were to pull one off because they've hung up there so long, they're like the wall around it is more stained than the wall underneath it, right? And so the idea is that's supposed to give players the hint that they should hang something up in that place, and that that's basically the hint to the players that there's a puzzle to solve here, you know. And it's the type of thing where it's like if they're not catching on to it, you know, you can have them just do investigation checks and like offer the clue about, hey, there's a puzzle to solve here, and then they can use their tools, you know, the tools given to them, the various letters that are down there as well as the letters on the wall to try and figure out what the pattern is. So now I've been thinking about it, and I kind of want to, especially for these types of things where they could, in theory, just like guess each one until they get it right. Right? Like I don't want it to just be a gimme no matter what. So I've added this thing, and I'm going to start being a bit more strict with this type of stuff when I'm writing, just because I've been thinking about it, and I've been like sort of on the fly incorporating these types of limits in my games, just to make sure that there are potential consequences for just trying to brute force your way through things. Sometimes the consequences are still that you can succeed at whatever you're trying to do. But I want it to be that there's like, I just want there to be something tangible, something tangibly different about not actually taking the time to solve a puzzle, and rather just trying to, you know, slam your forehead against the wall until you succeed type of situation. So for this one, if they get it wrong 3 times, the lock stays locked and nothing will happen no matter what they do. Right, so it's like if they get it wrong, then nothing will happen. And I kind of like the idea, though, of not telling them that nothing will happen, just to kind of mess with them, right, and give them pause to think like, well, what did we do wrong? Did we do something wrong? What did this change? So on and so forth. So I kind of want to do that, but it's kind of like how if you enter, you know, if you try to enter the password in your phone wrong too many times, it'll like erase itself, you know, just because of like, or at least you can set it up so that it'll do that. You know, it's that kind of concept that I'm going for here. But then if they put the E up, the pattern here is the first letter of each number from 1 to 8, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then E for 8, right? That's all the pattern is. You know, it's one of those things where it's like I kind of like this puzzle, This isn't a puzzle that I came up with. I found this one on just like a big list of puzzles that people have kind of come up with. I thought this was a really clever one because it's one of those ones where once you understand what the pattern is, like once you give the players the answer, they'll immediately be like, oh, I get it, right? But until you give it to them, there's a very good chance they won't understand what the heck you're trying to convey to them. So, I think this is a really good puzzle. I really like this one. And then if they do open the puzzle inside, there's going to be some. I like this part here that I came up with. Inside this hidden compartment appears to be a small medical kit, right? And so it's like there's like a bunch of like healing potions, right? Because it's wood carver's thing. But then there's also a couple oil of sharpness, right? To put on, and like that type of stuff would normally be used for their wood cutting and whittling instruments and everything. But it's like that's there. And players can find that as well as like the medical kit for if you cut yourself while you're like whittling and stuff. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that's clever, but I liked it, so I put it in there. This will be pretty easy. And then this one, room 13, is accessible through 12 or 14. So that means we can go ahead and bust up these two walls here, and we can just put like a little wood carver shop worth of stuff in here. So let's go ahead and go to our wall tool here. We'll edit some points. I want to do this, and I want to unsnap actually. What we can do is we can just that one for that busted wall, and then for this one, that busted wall is just like that, right? So we got busted walls there. Go to our object tool here. Look at our used objects, right? The used objects make it pretty easy because we can just kind of throw a little bit of rubble around. Like busted tables. It's not exactly right, but we can do that. Combine a couple pillars here. Make it look like the wall kind of busted out, and maybe on this one, you have like a hunk of wood there and there. There. Just a little bit of scrap wood lying around. Top of everything. That's good enough. That'll do. That looks fine to me. Yeah, it's fine. It's passable. It's passable and wonderful. So if we get that going just like that, and then I kind of want there to be, we can kind of have this like be knocked a little off kilter, right? And like maybe one more here that's again a little knocked off kilter, but those are like the workbenches, and we can kind of put like, if there was a bookshelf right there that would have supplies, right? So that's like where the supplies would be, and then we can just like set it up that maybe, again, knocked a little out of the way, or a couple tables there that would, like, that's where you would find the little knickknacks and tchotchkes and stuff like that, so you can put that right there. We can just go here. Yeah, if we just look at the clutter, just have kind of, a few broken things. Not exactly wood carved items, but it gets the idea across that there's small items and knickknacks around. It'll suffice. And sometimes, especially when you're just working with a pre-generated set of items like this, you go for good enough and you call it a day. So if we do stuff like that, that kind of gets the point across. Then we can go back to our used, put up a little chandelier, as we do with a little bit of light. Light tool, just right there, perfect, excellent. There's our wood carvers room right there. And there would be, this is where there would be the hidden, the hidden compartment, hidden safe type of area there. But we don't have like actual wood blocks or anything like that, so we'll just have to describe it, and players can kind of figure it out as they go. The players are clever. They'll figure it out. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so we do that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so then now we gotta just decorate room 14. Oh, room 14. So this one had a trap in it. And so what I kind of came up with is inside this shop appears to be some sort of home security type of shop. Multitudes of locks and barricades are scattered around the shop in various displays that demonstrate their effectiveness. On the lower cost shelves sit dozens of rusted and broken locks, while the pricier shelves have locks that look as good as the day they were made. On one table in the back sits 3 potion bottles. I just like the idea of there being a lock shop and like them being able to see all these years later, all these years later, and being able to see, you know, like, oh, I guess there's a certain degree if you get what you pay for, right? Because like there would be so much better equipment. Like the pricier stuff is in much better shape, while the old stuff is already like rusted and broken up. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. And so we have a few kind of things here. If players reach for the bottles, oh, that's right. I remember coming up. This is kind of an interesting trap that I like. It's not so much a trap as it just is a mind game. Kind of more of a puzzle, but I like it. If players reach for the bottles, there will be a near imperceptible shimmer around the wrist, as though they were reaching through perfectly clear water. If they pull their hand back without grabbing a bottle, nothing happens. If they pull it back while holding a bottle, their hand stays put with the bottle. Right, so if they reach out and they actually grab the bottle and then pull it back, the hand will just stay there, like with their arm. It'll just be like a disembodied arm, right? Just like sitting there, floating there, holding the bottle, and they'll pull it back and they'll not see their hand with them, right? And so what this is the trick is that it simply uses illusion magic to make their hand invisible while copying an image onto the bottle. The intention is to scare thieves into stopping. If they reach back and set the bottle down, it looks like they're just matching their wrist back to the hand. Then the hand will come back with the bottle left on the table. So it's like if they leave the bottle, they can pull their hand back. If they take the bottle with them, it looks like their hand is staying there. It's not. Like they're actually pulling the bottle in their hand, but it looks invisible. And so then the last part, to keep everything, they simply need to close their eyes and say, "This isn't real," and the illusion will be broken. And then I also just put a little caveat there for my players. If they come up with anything else that fits, allow it, right? Like I've been trying to be better about sort of keeping that type of mindset in mind when it comes to handling puzzles and traps, because it's real easy from the perspective of already knowing what the answer is to think like, oh yeah, that seems like an obvious solution. This seems pretty clear, right? But it's like to players, you know, the analogy, I use it all the time. And I'll say it again, right? I, as the DM, might think that like I've written the answer clear as day on their forehead, right? But the fact is they can't see their own forehead, and even if they look in a mirror, it'll appear backwards. And you know what I mean by that analogy is if you know what the answer is and you're the one creating that answer, it can seem super obvious. But without having the benefit of your perspective, anyone else might have some serious trouble understanding what the heck you were trying to say. Which is why, you know, I've really tried to embody the concept of like, yes and your way through puzzles. Like there's a prescribed solution, right, for them to find. And if they sort of are playing along and they find it, then perfect, right? But after a certain while, if they're still trying stuff and they haven't really come up with what it is, I kind of will start like allowing whatever they're working on, right? So if something like this, right, your players, the idea is that like, you know, they need to close their eyes and say this isn't real. But if like they're just sitting there and there's like nothing in their mind is like having them come up with that, but they start doing types of things where it's like, oh well, I'm going to instead of grabbing it with my hand, I'm going to try and knock the bottle out of the way, you know, or knock the bottle out with something else so that way it doesn't leave my hand, you know. And it's like, and you know, eventually if they start doing stuff like that and it's been a few minutes, I'll start allowing it. I'll be like, okay, yeah, no, that fits. You do that and it looks like the boot is frozen, you know. If they throw a boot to knock the potion off the table, like, okay, yeah, it looks like the boot is just kind of frozen there, but suddenly you hear a clattering, and as you look towards the ground, you can see the bottle rolling on the ground, right? And it's like, that breaks the illusion. It's like, you know, loose fit, close enough, we'll allow it. I'll allow it. That's the type of thing that I'm trying to do, and I'm having one of my days now where my nose is itching like nobody's business. Although this time I think it's because I have not trimmed my beard in quite some time, so I think I have a couple stray like mustache and beard hairs that are tickling me. C'est la vie. Yeah, I think that's great. And then again, there's this potion. Oh, that's right. That's right. I thought this was really funny. So greater healing potions. I always give them some healing potions. It's just me stocking my players up so they can have nice long excursions without having to revisit cities or take long rests all the time. And the other one was I just kind of invented this on the spot. It's just super glue. There's just bottles of super glue. Can be added to any doorway to add +5 to the DC of unlocking it. Also, any other creative uses for super glue, right? And it's just like that. That's my thought was like that'd be really funny to have on like a home security system in D&D. Like the home security is just super glue that makes it really tough to remove things. You know, so it's like if you're trying to display artwork in your home and you want to make sure that thieves can't get it, you just put some super glue on there. You know, that's what it is. It's crazy glue. It seems magical to the people of the D&D world. I really like that item. I think that's hilarious. Not to toot my own horn, but I kind of came up with something super cool there. Just saying. So yeah, like the difficult part now is figuring out exactly how to decorate this place to kind of convey the ideas that I was trying to convey here. Let's go. I don't want to just put a couple chandeliers. Big enough one to warrant a couple chandeliers. We'll do one in the front, one in the back. Do that. And I want to just set up. So like the idea behind this one, to me at least, is like it's got displays of different locks. So rather than shelves all around, I'm just going to put some tables up that would have, you know, demonstrations of the locks and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. And yeah, I don't know. Oh, you know what we can do though? Talking about a place that has little wood instruments. Boom, there we go. There. A whittled flute, clarinet, or recorder, or whatever they would have called it back in the day. I don't know. I'm not a history man. Okay, so for this though, this area here, I know what I want. I know one thing that I want to do. They have. Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out where I'd find. I know they have bottle. You know what? Screw it. We'll just search for bottle. There we go. So, boom, boom, boom. Right. That's the one that's got the 3 bottles and everything on it. I kind of like the idea of actually. Here's what I kind of like. Magic. I kind of like the idea of like these tables having just like a couple of these things. How do I shrink this? Where's my size control? Oh, scale. This is what I'm looking for. Kind of like the idea of them just having a few spell circles and stuff sitting around as like demonstrations of you know, of what these things can look like here. I want to make this a bit neon and obvious, a little glowy there. Yeah, just to make them a bit more clear. Yeah, I like the idea of these things just like having a few of these things just like etched into tables. You know, the idea being like, hey, these are different locking spells that we can provide for you. Right? It's maybe a little dumb, but I think it's pretty funny. One right there, and then smaller one, and ooh, an even smaller one. I like the idea. Really small one going. What ones haven't I used? I haven't used. Perfect. There. So it's like just, you know, little spell wards or whatever. And I don't put one more like right. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Later. Excellent. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So there's our little shop. And honestly, I don't think it needs a whole lot more than that, just based on what the shop is supposed to be. I think that's great. I think it's excellent as it is. So we'll go ahead and put our little bits there. One of these windows is busted, so I do need to just go ahead and go to our portal tool here. I'll probably give me my grab tool. There we go. I'm gonna delete that, and instead now we'll go to our portal tool, and we'll just do the open threshold where the window. Oh, there we go. That's where the busted window would be. And actually, you know what we can do? We can go object tool, go back to our clutter, and then just do like a bunch of the broken glass. Let's get our scale back up to 1. Snap that. Oh, I said unsnap it. Just like put some busted out glass or something right there. Perfect. Perfect. Perfection. Excelente. I love it. I like it. I like this a lot, actually. Okay, this is great. This is really great. This is great. This is great. So great. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now here's where the challenge comes in. Here's where the challenge comes in. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay. So what I want to do now, and the reason why I want to jump ahead. So let's take a look here. This all takes place Marketplace Part 1. I want to skip ahead and work on Section 3 now, which is the Marketplace Part 2. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to be able to work with these back and forth, so that way I can kind of keep them semi-accurate between each other, because the difference isn't really in how things are designed and set up. The difference between the two sections, right, when players come and go, is going to be more to do with what is accessible at any given time. But it's important to me that I don't railroad and force things too much for my players. So what I'd like to do is make sure that at any given time, if players are determined enough and are insistent upon brute forcing their way into whatever location they're trying to get into, right? So like this first portion, room 8, room 15, right? These are not accessible as a baseline, right? The doors are going to be barricaded, and then what's going to happen is like events are going to happen throughout this chapter that are going to result in different buildings being damaged and accessible in different ways. And so, you know, that's what's going to make things be accessible. Excuse me. Whereas some of these areas may become inaccessible based on how, you know, damage is done to these buildings as well, although I'm less concerned about that. But what I want to make sure is that as I'm decorating, you know, as I'm designing rooms 3, 4, 5, 8, and 15 for this second visit, right, I want to match those to this old one, so that if our players do decide, like, you know, we're going to keep beating on this. We have an axe, we have a pickaxe, we have a hammer. We are going to demo this building, and we are going to bust a hole in the wall and get in here. If players want to take that route, I kind of want to make sure I'm prepared for that. Excuse me. So I think it would be good to like decorate this room that like however it's going to be in the next section, but have it be so with this area where the walls are damaged, right? So, or rather, the walls are not damaged. So that way it's like, you know, it from the outside as our players are wandering around, it looks the way it should be. But if they go inside, it'll still match what'll be later on, where, you know, a chunk of wall is destroyed, and our players now have to you know, bust their way through, as opposed to being able to just walk in based on how stuff is played out. So I wanna do those two sections back to back, even though they don't occur back to back. How's it doing, Kuromori? I think I said that right. Oh man, probably not. I don't know. I'm sorry. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Glad to see you here. Kuro, easy enough. That is much easier. I appreciate you. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah, so that's what I want to do. So what we're going to do first, I'm just going to, one more time, save it just to make sure I don't screw everything up. And then what I want to do is, so I'm going to go to our levels here. We're going to go to level settings here. We need to create a new one. So this is going to be, we're just going to call this one section 3 because that's what it is. And we're going to clone ground level. I'm going to want to rename that, but we're going to clone that. Okay, so here we've got a clone. Now we got 2 of the same thing, and I'm just going to rename. We're going to call this section 1 because those are the two things. Perfect. It's going well for me, Kuro. It's going well for me. I'm stoked to be back streaming after taking a week off. So it's, you know, I'm in a good place now that I'm sitting here streaming again. So hell yeah. Thank you for asking. Hopefully all is well with you as well. Okay, so section 1 here, I'm gonna just, because in my brain space it's better organized if 1 is on top of 3, just because it's like a list order here. So I think, okay, so they're the section 3. Okay, other than the floors being a little randomized, that's great. Section 1 is pretty much how we want it, and then we'll add the decorations here as we need to based on section 3, what we put in there. The important thing immediately though is section 3, we need to like demolish walls and make things a little more accessible for players. So I'm going to start by doing that here in section 3, just because if I do that now, that's going to give me a better visual a better visual approach, or a visual landmark, so I understand which one I'm looking at any given time. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to our, I'm gonna have to do, I know I did the building tool for these, and I know the walls of the building tool, you can't edit them without it messing up the flooring. So instead, we're just gonna use my little cheat of taking out these portals and adding in just like the empty archway portals for the wall being demolished here. So grab the upper half of a stone fire giant. Anyways, nice. That sounds awesome. Although I kind of like the idea of hearing that sentence without context of with your dragon mage, and I just like the idea of like, oh, you know, I was just wrestling a firestone giant. It's no big deal. It was right on the volcano's edge, you know. It's no big deal. This place called Krakatoa, you know, you might have heard of it. Like, I just like the mental image of you being that much of a badass. That is just like, yeah, no, I go out and I wrestle giants. That's just what I do. You don't do that with your free time? I mean, I guess if you want to live a boring life, whatever. I love it. All right, let's see here. So we need to bust out this wall, and we need to bust out this wall here, because that's how that's gonna go down. And then I want to bust out, I kind of want to bust out the corner of this. Let's go ahead and take that out of there, and let's go ahead and go back to our little portal tool here. And I want to put in there, and there. Kind of bust out the corner there. That's perfect. That's perfect. Just like, actually, you know what? We'll do one more. Boom. Bada bang, bada boom. Okay. So that's how those are going to be accessible, because then what I want to do is for these ones, I want to just have these walls be demolished, kind of like what I've been doing down here for these ones. I actually almost have this idea. Wait, hold on. Let me check something here. I gotta remember how I structured this. Go back up to, okay, room 2 was the general store, and so room 3 then should be the one that had our wizardly friends. Yeah, this is going to be our wizard friends shop. So I actually kind of think it would be cool if, rather than having just all of the doors always be conveniently busted out, or walls conveniently busted out, we can put a door that like connects these two, and these are like 2 parts of the same shop. And actually, yeah, I'm gonna commit to that right now. We're gonna change up. I'm gonna take that out and instead put in another window. And we'll change that in our standard one also. Yeah, I think that's gonna be good. Goodness gracious, so tedious trying to get everything to work for me. A little bit. Boom. Okay, so we got 2 windows there. Actually, you know what I think would be fun? Undo that. It'd actually be kind of cool if it's like got a corner window of sorts. Boom. Right there. It's part of like the displays for that. Like one more there or something. Nah, we'll leave it. Well, I'm going to take this. I guess it's just delete it and put in a new. We'll get there. We'll get there. There we go. That looks a bit better. That looks a bit better to me. I like it that way a bit better. Actually, if we do that, then it's like a nice big picturesque corner window that like peers into the shop a little bit. And we can put like a display table or two with old busted up items. It just sits there. I like it. I like it. All right. Yeah, that's good. Although, you know what? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be picky about it. I'm gonna go ahead and be picky. I don't like it. If we're gonna do a corner window, I don't want to do it as like the shuttered windows because that just looks weird to me. We'll just grab. Oh shoot. Over here. There it is. Portal tool. Just grab like just the window here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. That's more like it. It's got like the window frames and stuff, but it's like a big corner window. That's the one. That's the ticket. That's the ticket right there. I like it. I like it. So yeah, we can do that. And then this one will do like a bit of a busted wall going on there that somehow broke down and fell apart in some way, shape, or form. So we can go to our building or wall tool. That's what we need. Edit the points of this. Make sure we're not snapped. And maybe, yeah, here's what I want to do. Do there, and then let's add in all starts there. Oh shoot! It's not a random palisade. We need wooden walls. Although it would be kind of amusing for there to just be a random palisade. So it was a design choice. We just thought it would look interesting to have this one random wall that doesn't match anything else. Super durable too. All right. Okay, so we'll do that. And then, okay, so what I want to do then, so if I'm going to have it mirror, what we need to do is we just need to change this wall. We need to change this in section 1. We need to change this wall. We need to add that door. And I think that's the only thing we need to make, because the rest of these are just busted out walls that aren't busted out in the first time our players visit. Yeah, so there we go. So what we need to do now is let's edit our points here. One was like somewhere right there, wasn't it? Hold on. I don't need it to be perfect per se, but I really don't want our walls to just like randomly. Then we do this one more out like right. Oops. Let's do this. Boom, boom. There we go. Good enough. That's not just good. That's good enough. And that's what we need. Yeah, it is too bad it's not on Steam. I mean, you can still find it. It's not through Steam. You just gotta buy it through their shop. But it's a one-time purchase, which is sweet. But yeah, it's not through Steam. It's not Steam supported. That's true. That's very true. Okay, let's get a portal. We need to put in a door. Snap it. Wait, hold up. Okay. I gotta make sure we don't have a magically moving door. So we can put that right there. And then we needed to edit our little windows here. Portal tool. This is the width. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Alrighty. Yeah. That's what we need right there. That makes it all match. That makes it all match and all the same. And then that way, if our players do decide to brute force their way into these areas, then they can check all that. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't think about the currency exchange issues and stuff like that. That makes sense. Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one day they kind of broaden it, because Dungeon Draft is still, in a lot of ways, a work in progress. So it wouldn't surprise me if one of these days they kind of expanded purchase options. But I'm not part of the team, so I guess I'm just kind of talking out my ass on that one. I don't know if that's actually what's gonna ever happen with it. It wouldn't surprise me. But no, that makes sense. That is a bummer. That is a bummer. I feel you there. All right. Good. So now what we can do, and really we can just leave everything else as it is. Like, it doesn't matter if our players want to go back and revisit old places that they've already been in. So we can do that. So these walls got busted out, and these get decorated. And so what we'll do then is we'll just try and remember, once we decorate section 3 here, as the time, you know, when we've written all these rooms up and everything, then we can have we can add in the details there. And actually, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, Dungeon Painter Studio. I've used I used to use Dungeon Painter Studio in the past. It gets the job done. I wouldn't even say I disliked it. It's just it's dated. It feels dated when you use it. It's an older program, and it kind of feels that way when you're using it. Is sort of what my take on it always was. So like it got the job done, but yeah, using Dungeon Draft is it's like it's updated, and it's made to integrate well with online playing options. So that's the big thing that I like, is just how well it integrates with using the Foundry virtual tabletop system, which is what I use for my games. It integrates with that so extremely well, and I'm a huge fan of that. And that's what really sold me on using Dungeon Draft, personally. So yeah, the assets can be a little challenging to work with. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, okay, I like this. So the one thing that I'm thinking here, I'm trying to think about, I think what I want to do, just trying to think about when I'm doing my notes for these sections here. I kind of want to add the notes to those rooms because we're gonna put the notes to those rooms once they're accessible, you know, in this section here, right, where they all belong. And so we're definitely gonna have the notes there. And what I think I'd like to do is those rooms that are inaccessible, just for the sake of convenience, I think I want to copy and put them just down below here, and just like add a little note that says like, these rooms are largely inaccessible at this stage, but if players are determined, they can get in here and they can find these things. And then the other thing that I'm thinking I want to do is I kind of want to just keep all these rooms the same. I want to keep all of these rooms the same, other than having the enemies change, right? Because that's what changes about this. Because the first time our players are exploring this part of their city here, the first time they're exploring this area, right, there's a herd of rhinos that are just kind of wandering around, and that's the enemies that they have to contend with. And the next time they come back, it'll be a few days later, and they have to contend with a herd of elephants that have showed up. And that's why other parts of these buildings are a bit more destroyed, because big clumsy elephants are kind of like wandering through here and busting out some of these, you know, rotted, decaying walls, and they've kind of knocked a few of them over. And so I kind of want to just like, you know, the puzzle room and everything, I kind of want to take those and keep them, you know, all the same, and keep the contents of all these things the same, and just sort of alternate, like change up what enemies are around, and kind of mix and match, you know, where different elephants are found and to what degree and all that kind of stuff. That's what I think I want to do with this section, with these two sections. To have them basically be the same, other than, you know, the animals that they will, I mean, functionally they'll have to poach them if they want to go with killing as opposed to sneaking around, and that's, you know, that's for the players to decide how comfortable they are or aren't with doing that. But yeah, I think that's how I want to do this. It's going to be a little tricky. I shouldn't say that. It's not going to be any trickier than starting from scratch. I'll just have to make sure I go through and edit each one of them properly. Because even what I could do is I could just put in the details in that first section, the details of all these rooms, just in the number order, the way I've got it organized for pretty much everything else. And I just make sure and put like a note right at the beginning of the room right? That just says inaccessible at this time, you know, or something like that. So it's like the notes are there if we need them, because it's all just a copy paste function. It's not like it costs me anything, right? I'm not making this in print, or I'm not handwriting this stuff out. So it's really zero cost to just go ahead and put those notes there in multiple places, and it just makes it more convenient for future me who has to DM this one day. So I think that's probably going to be the smart way to do it. And that's the way we're going to do it. So probably what we'll do then is we'll just cut and paste. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and paste everything here. Like, we're just going to come down here. Come on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. OneNote has such an issue with, like, scrolling and highlighting at the same time. It just loses its mind when you try to get it to do this. It's so slow about it. Come on. Come on, you. Come on, you. Basic word processing functions here. Should not be too much for you. There we go. So we'll just copy that. What we'll do, paste all of that. Boom, there we go. Okay. Perfect. So we can do that, and then we can just go through and we can edit those as we go. So we're gonna get going on that. But really, first, before we dive into that, I need to run to the bathroom again, refill my drink. I'm just gonna take myself just like just a couple minute break here. Not even that. I'll just leave you guys on here. You'll probably see me wandering around in the back just to handle a couple things. But I'll be right back. I just gotta, I've been going for like 2 hours now, so I need to run to the bathroom and be prepared for another 2 hours. so give me just a second, and I will be right back. I appreciate your patience. Alright. I'm back. Right, I'm gonna take this. I got myself a couple Pringles. I'm just gonna sit here. You guys get to enjoy the ASMR of me crunching on some Pringles for a minute. I gotta fuel myself, and clearly, when you're talking about fueling the brain with good positive energy, Pringles are the only choice. No fruit, no carrot sticks, Pringles. That's the good brain fuel right there. Mm. You can do like the duck lip thing too with them. Right? Anyone else do that? Oh. Mmm. Just quality entertainment right here. This is what I get paid the big bucks for. And when I say I get paid the big bucks, I mean I don't get paid at all. Which is why I do stupid stuff like this. Just so delicious. These are the salt and vinegar ones. Salt and vinegar Pringles. Which, personally for me, the best version of salt and vinegar. Because the natural way that Pringles are, much less harsh than your standard potato chips, right? Just because of the way they're made and everything. A lot less harsh, so I don't feel like my mouth is getting sliced open and then having like pure vinegar just like swished around in my cut up mouth. Like it's a much calmer version of salt and vinegar, and I'm all about it. So highly recommended. Nice big blue tube. If you're looking for the Pringles. Salt and vinegar. Ow. So good. This is the best part. This is the best part about not weight cutting anymore. The snacks. I missed snacking. I'm not even that big of a snacker, but it's like sometimes you know you just need that little bit of blood sugar pick me up. They had a little bit of trail mix or something, and boy, for the past few weeks I just have not been able to do that. Back at it, and this is the way to live right here. Oh, good. Oh, stinking good. All right. That's all the Pringles I got with me. I got more in the cupboard, but I'm not standing up again, so. Pardon me shaking my desk. Don't worry about it. I don't know how obvious it is to everyone else. Like the camera sitting on top of my monitors definitely shakes a little bit. Oh well. Alrighty. So we were going to make sure all my parameters and everything are good right now. Yeah, we're good. Oh yeah, we're cool. We're cool. So we were gonna start working on section 3, and we're gonna fill in the blanks. Yeah. So I'm gonna have us work on section 3, and then what we can do is we can just copy paste the other parts here. I'm just trying to think about how I want to organize this, because the monsters are going to be different. I don't want to just like I don't want to have the easy battles, you know, and the hard battles and all that kind of stuff be in the same places. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to mix it up a little bit. So I think what I want to do, how do I want to do this? I'm just trying to think about how to organize it and make sure I don't get myself tripped up. I think we can use my usual little checklist, and we can I can pull out my dice. Oh, that's right. We can have some fun. If we're doing a new section, we can have some fun rolling some dice. Let me get my dice out. Ooh, boy. Oh, things get exciting now. Down from the shelf. All right. So I want to... Let's figure this out. I think what's going to be easiest is... Okay. I know we need... Okay, so what I think I should do is first figure out which of these rooms are going to be considered like nothing rooms, right? So it's like when we're going to take whatever the new rooms, right? So 3, 4, 5, 8, and 15. 3, 4, 5, I don't know, maybe I'm the only person who recognized that little rhythm in there. I definitely notice patterns where they don't belong sometimes. But anyways, we know that like these rooms, and when our players are there the second time around, are going to be important ones. But the first time around, these are like nothing rooms, right? Like we're going to put the details there for our players to like sort of see and interact with, but they're kind of nothing rooms. And that's good. That's fine. And so, but I want to do the same thing for the next area where they're nothing rooms. Which I guess is to say they're rooms that there's going to be absolutely no changes in. Right? And other than, you know, if there were monsters, right? Monsters in the room, that's the part that's in quotations because it was like hanging out in front. Those guys are gone now, so all the rhinos are going to be gone, but other than that, there's no changes. And so I'm thinking like if we can make this section, 12, 13, and 14 be nothing rooms, right? Maybe we can make all of these be nothing rooms and have the elephant herd just kind of be more congregated up over here for some reason. Maybe they're like over into to the back area there too. Right, and so that's what it is. So our players can kind of free range go in these areas, but then getting to that area is going to be tougher. So I think that's how I want to do it. I think that's how I want to set it up. So we'll have 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 be nothing rooms. And then all of these rooms be ones where it's like either the monsters are there, even if the interior doesn't change at all, right? Or like these ones where everything is kind of brand new. I think that's how I want to do it. So let's go ahead and first do... it was 10 through 14, right? I already forgot. Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. No changes. 10. We're going to say... Room 10, I'm going to do... How do I want to demarcate these? I think I want to just do something like... room 10, we'll just do... actually just say... nothing, and then empty. Right, and we do that, and then this thing we'll just say... And then we'll just try, yeah, like we're gonna get rid of this so there's nothing here. And we can just do change this and say nothing. I think maybe we'll do it that way. Nothing. So if players try the outside door, yeah, so it's like that all of that information is still there. So we'll just do maybe like that just to dim. I mean, I guess that gets the point across. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. At least for now. And if I decide I want to try and change it differently, there's nothing saying I can't go back and change it again at a later date, you know. We can do whatever we want. We're creating our own world here. We're in charge. We can do whatever the hell we want. Hell yeah. Take that. Whatever imaginary force is trying to restrict what I do with my world. So we can do this. And then we'll just leave everything else the same, because when they go in there, everything is going to be the same. But getting in there is a little different now. We'll do nothing again for that one. This one again is just going to be a nothing room. Doing this in the right section. Section. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I really goofed it. Oh, I accidentally put it in 2. Okay, hold on. Boy, I goofed it. Hold on, let's just undo as much of this as we can. How far back is it going to let me undo this? What we can do here. Why is it? Okay, yeah, okay, we could deleted that stuff. There we go. Okay, that's what we need to do. And then, oh, we need to come down to section 3 here. That's on me right there. Okay, so now, real. Is it still the same thing on the clipboard? It is. Oh my gosh, almost had to redo a whole lot of stuff there. That wasn't so bad. Okay, so again, nothing. Nothing. No thing. It's like a Ken doll. No thing. Ah, get it? Get it? It's funny. Okay, there we go. We got that one. Again, this one is going to be nothing. Nothing. Boom. This thing. Nothing. Delete all of that noise. And then delete all of this noise. There we go. Perfect. Yep. Okay. That's what we're looking for there. One again is just going to be a nothing. See here. And then we can get rid of that because that's just describing the animals there that were inside that are now no longer going to be inside. Okay, wait, hold on a second. Oh my goodness, could not be more difficult. That. There we go. Okay, so that's good. That's good. So now this one, now I'm gonna call this one old puzzle, and we're gonna call this one old trap, because they're still there, and if our players don't handle the puzzle or activate the trap, you know, then they're still gonna be there for the players to have to deal with. But yeah, but that's not the main thing. I want to put in a new trap and puzzle within some of the new rooms that our players will now have access to for this next part of everything. Okay. This is the type of thing. Like, this is, I don't know, maybe it's just me and my brain. This is the type of stuff that's kind of hard to, like, keep straight. But once you get it, I really feel like this is gonna really, like, this is, I'm really excited about this, because with all of this work, this is gonna turn this section into a very, very interesting, immersive, sort of living world type of situation. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that there will be, that we're taking the time to have some parts be the same, but some parts different, rather than just having an entirely different area, or having the same area just all be the same all throughout. Like, this is the type of stuff that, for me, makes it really worthwhile to like, take the time and plan the campaign ahead of time, rather than just kind of going section by section, or like session by session, I should say. Not that there's, again, you know, not that there's anything wrong with doing it session by session, because for some people that's just how they DM. And if they're good at DMing it that way, then they should do it that way. You should do whatever way works for you as a DM. But for me, it's this type of thing that is why I really like planning things out ahead, because this sort of thought and attention to detail is hard to do week by week, I find. I find this can be hard to do week by week, because it requires a whole lot of going back and rereading old notes and pulling stuff in together that way that maybe you weren't even expecting to have to go back to at any given time. Whereas doing it this way means that it is all fresh in our mind, and it's a lot easier to know what goes where, right? Even though it's complicated and tricky. So it's like, this is for me a really good example of why I do DMing and world building the way I do it. It's not a way that's going to necessarily work for everyone. But just, this is I feel like this really exemplifies why I like doing it this way. Because the other thing about it too is when you lay it all out in one big picture, it gets a lot easier to sort of see how these things can interact with each other. Whereas if you're just like kind of vaguely putting stuff together with the thought of, oh, maybe we'll revisit it one day. Like, that stuff fades from your memory. You forget about some of it, and you start, having a hard time keeping everything cohesive. Whereas, here we are with everything, just kind of doing it all in one fell swoop and organizing it all. We're creating this dungeon that really is a dynamic thing that's going to change a little bit, even though it's also going to stay the same a little bit. And it just, I don't know. Everyone's got their own, and I don't mean to say that, like, I think you're wrong, or I think you need to change how you do things if you don't do it my way. Just, if anyone's curious about, what my reasons are for doing it the way I do it, here's a really, really good, clear example. Right? This is a, like, I can't think of something that's quite as poignant as this, that would explain why it is that I love doing it the way I do it. So just, just a thought to think about, just a think to thought about, and all of that nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's very important stuff. It's not nonsense. Very, 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 very super important things. So now what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're just gonna copy this a little bit here. Copy this part so we know we've got our rooms. We got 1, 2, and so now we need 3. Oops. Put one more in there. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then 15. Okay, so there's all of our rooms. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of our template. I don't feel like we need it right now. Come on. Oh my gosh. OneNote will just... I love OneNote as a general rule, but man, oh man, there are some things that it just does not do. And scrolling and highlighting simultaneously is just apparently one of them. Like, it just does not handle that, which is really weird to me. That seems to me like it's a pretty standard function for modern day word processors, but hey, I guess I'm not a programmer, so what do I know? What do I know about the issue? What do I know about it other than the way it is irritates me? That's all I know. That is all that I know. Okay. So we got those rooms. So now what I want to do is I want to assign all of these things. Some of these things that were a battle are going to be different. The one thing that I do need to make sure I do, is I need to intentionally map out where I guess the boss can kind of go anywhere, because the boss is just going to be a particularly big elephant that's present in the street, and like players are just probably going to have to encounter this elephant at some point in time anyway. So the boss is not so much, but the only thing that I need to intentionally map out are the new puzzle and trap, and that's just because I don't want there to randomly accidentally be a trap in one of these new rooms that we're going to assign things into, right? Or one of these old rooms, right? So it's like, I don't want room 1 that previously didn't have any sort of puzzle in it to just like magically have a puzzle. It's going to be weird. It's going to disrupt the continuity. So I don't want to do that. I want to make sure the puzzles and the traps end up in these rooms. And I'm thinking, so we're going to have, yeah, so our players can like go through here and here. I'm thinking if we put, hold on, wait, let me see something here, actually. What are our players looking for in this one? I know I pre-planned all this out. Maybe I planned it all out up here about what important item is going to be in what area. I know I already kind of planned that out. Okay, yeah, here we go. Section 1 was chalk to draw some mundane spell component that his supply is out of. Perfect. That's excellent. What we'll do, I'm going to get rid of mundane. We're just going to say some spell component. And what we'll do is we can put that in here. We can put that in here 4, and so we can put like a puzzle and a trap in 3 and 4. So that way, that's like because 3 and 4. Remember, these are the ones that we're gonna decide that we kind of have planned out. That's gonna be our wizard. So our wizard, you know, he goes by Sis. He owned this shop, you know, and so he's got some of his stuff here, and he'll have it protected. And so this is perfect because they'll need to get a spell component from his shop that he knows he has, but it's kind of in his shop and he doesn't have time to go get it or whatever, right? So our players can go in there and they'll just have to deal with the fact that like there's going to be like puzzles and traps in place. So like we can put a trap in here and then maybe a puzzle, which is to unlock the safe or the supply cabinet that it's in or something like that. That's what I think. That's what I think I want to do. What I think I want to do. So 3, let's do the trap, and 4, let's do the puzzle. Because the trap is going to be like, you know, just a home security system or a store security system, I guess. So this one, the danger is going to be a trap. And then in this one, it's going to be a puzzle, right, to unlock the room. So that's what I want to do. So I can go ahead and mark off our puzzle and our trap from my little list. I have I show it a lot. I have my little checklist of everything that goes into one of my 10 room dungeon setups here, to make sure I don't accidentally forget to do things or do too much of one thing or anything like that. Makes it easier for me to keep it organized. So if we put those there, and then I think the obvious thing too is, I mean, they're gonna find the item that they're looking for, but we're also just going to put in lore because this is Sis's shop. This is an excellent location to put in tidbits of lore for our players to find and learn a little bit more about our wizardly friend here and sort of what his history is and what his role in the city is. So I think that's excellent. So we can do those things, and that marks off a couple of them. And so now we can just kind of go down through the list, except for doing these ones, the 10, let me see here, 10 through 14, which are kind of our nothing areas, right? Nothing are olds. Those all stay the same in terms of notes. And then what we can do is we can reassign everything, and we can change the notes as needed and leave some things exactly as they are as appropriate. And I think that's going to be the way to do this. So that means the next thing we got to do is choose out which dice we're going to roll with. I mean, that's like the most fun part of all of this. So I always like to just do it by random because I have my dice collection. I have my big bag of dice, big old collection of them. I got like 10 sets of dice that are part of this, and it's growing all the time. Maybe there's closer to 15 days. There's somewhere between 10 and 15 dice sets here, and I always just choose them randomly because they're all important to me. And so I just like to just kind of see which one wants it the most and ends up being the one I pick. So today we're going to use, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see here. I'll try and hold it up there. We're using the steampunk dice. Will it focus? I don't know if it's going to be able to focus. Maybe if I hide my head behind my hand. Hold on. There it goes. Yeah, there we go. See, that's our steampunk. Yeah, it's got like all the gears and stuff. Yeah. So we'll do the steampunk dice. Pull out the matching ones for all the different sizes that I need. Need our 8, 6, and our 4 here. So room 1 here is going to end up having 5, 6, 7. That's gonna, ooh, okay, perfect. Perfect. Well, maybe is that perfect? Let me see something here. I might need to pre-decide something. I might have to change my tune about whether I was going to predetermine where the boss goes. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna put the boss right in front of 3. We're gonna put the boss like shared space kind of between 3 and 8. Kind of in a shared area here. 8's kind of more over there. Maybe we'll put the boss in 8. That just kind of makes sense. That's a nice big space for a nice big elephant to go that they have to kind of navigate through, and they could, in theory, go back behind it. Let's do that. So I'm gonna have to change my tune just a little bit here. Room 8 is going to have our boss battle. Boss battle. There we go. Yeah, we'll put that in room 8. I think that makes a lot of sense. Because I just rolled for the boss battle for room 1. And that's pretty out of the way. You know, and that gives our players pretty much a guaranteed opportunity to, you know, avoid it. If the big elephant's hanging out there, they're approaching from this direction and they need to just like sneak into here. Yeah, it's going to be pretty easy for them to avoid that. So, and I'm not opposed to players finding ways around boss battles if they want to, especially if it's just like a mini boss, kind of like this situation where it's just a big giant elephant that if they make it mad, it's going to be tough to kill it. I'm not really opposed to that, but I also don't want it to just be like super easy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to just be like a freebie for our players to just kind of, you know, get that. The other thing that's going to be tough here, though, and now that I'm thinking about this, and we'll have to see, we'll put the boss battle there. That's going to be tough here, is rewards. I also don't want to just, like, change up the rewards. So I think what I'll do is I'll kind of mark off the rewards as they exist in here. So, like, this one has money in it. And I think we'll just go ahead and leave that one as is. Unless I have a reason to change the reward, we'll just do that. And then we'll, for whatever the remaining, whatever, like, the extra rooms are and whatever rewards are still remaining, we'll just kind of do what we can with what's left. And we'll call it good there. I think that's going to make the most sense. So we'll let one... So room 1, so that's not going to have the boss battle. Instead, that one's going to have... We'll make that... Okay, perfect. Yeah, that actually works out really well. This time around, we'll just make it a safe area. So now it's safe. So, like, the monsters are all gone from there. So it's just safe. They're safe. They can go in there and get the money that's in there. They want to do that. We'll just do... No. Not allowed. Safe. Let's see here. Some sort of jewelry shop. And then we can just get rid of... Yeah, bits of grass from this. Yeah, we can get rid of that. We don't need that. Boom. There you go. Excellent. Excellent. Do I need a proofreader? I do not. I do not. Thank you for asking, though. Perfect. Yeah, okay. And then we can get rid of this because we don't have any monsters there anymore. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right, so... Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll leave the money there as the reward. That's perfect. That's excellent. Yeah, and then that reward can stay the same as it is. Excellent. Okay, easy handle. Easy handle on that one. Okay, so then the next room, yeah. This one is going to have, so room 2, area 2 will now have, boom, boom, boom. This one's going to have a medium battle instead of hard battle. Will be a medium battle. Medium battle. So now that means the number of, so that's going to have 950 experience points worth of fight there. Okay, yeah, so we can do 950. We could do 1,000. We could just do 5 of these juvenile elephants hanging out there. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be a crowded street here. It's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a magical world. We can do whatever we want. But it's going to be a crowded street when you think about just like a bunch of elephants. Although if we just like really lay it on thick with lots of baby and juveniles or something like that, that can kind of be like a space saver. And that'll work out pretty well. So if we do, we just say, we'll go for 1,000. We'll say 5 of these guys. So copy that. All of our reskinned, boom, there we go. So it's medium battle for 1,000 XP. There we go. We just got to change this so that it says medium battle so I don't get super confused when I look at it in the future. Medium battle, 1,000 experience points. Perfect. Okay, I think that's good. And then the lore stays the same. So we can mark off our medium battle here. And then our lore. That's a lore room. That's perfect. Okay, that's excellent. That's excellent. Let me see something here. Okay, we might end up with an extra lore. We might end up with one extra lore based on just like putting those extra, because we're only losing one and I put in 2 new ones already. So one of these might have to change. Could just change one of these up to be a new empty room. Something like that. Or just like not have an empty room. That actually makes more sense to do it that way. Just mark off the empty right now and we know there's not going to be an empty spot. That'll work. That'll work. Okay. Boy, it kind of snuck up on me how complicated it was trying to kind of wed these two visits to this place. Like, I didn't expect it to be quite so complicated. Keep everything straight, but it's yeah, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky to do it. It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be so worth it in the end. It's gonna be so worth it in the end once we get everything all kind of figured out and straightened out. I think it's gonna be excellent. But yeah, no, I'm kind of surprised by that. But at any rate, okay, so we got 3 and 4 already figured out. So let's go ahead and get to room 5 here. Yeah. So room 5 is that's gonna be a hard battle. Hard battle McCormick. Have I ever explained why it is I say hard battle McCormick? I say that all the time, and it occurred to me that I've never actually, like, I don't think I've ever actually explained why I say that. So there's this thing that exists. Okay. Like story time. I first learned about this in college, which was like shockingly like that's like 11, 12 years ago. It was my first year of college. First year of college was like, that was almost 12 years ago for me now. What the hell? I started college in 2010. 2022. Anyway, wow. I've not conceptualized how long ago I started college before. God, I'm old, man. What the hell happened? The hell happened? Someone stop the clock. It's just going nuts here. No, okay, anyway. It was my first year of college. I was introduced to this. And there exists this thing. This guy, his name is Brad Neely. All right, he does various things. You might have heard of his name from like different comics and like sketch YouTube videos and stuff like that. But he did this thing where he did a dub over narration of the first Harry Potter movie. And like if I'm remembering and understanding it properly, he did it as someone who has not read Harry Potter nor really knew anything about Harry Potter lore, and basically just like watched the movie once and then did his own dub over of it. And it's beautiful. I love it so much. It's probably a very specific sense of humor that I don't know if it will resonate with everyone as much as it does me. But you can find it if you look for Brad Neely, like Dear Readers, Wizard People. Like Dear Readers, like the one oh shoot, what's the one author that she always would say Dear Readers? I think she did like Uncle Tom's Cabin, and she would always say like Dear Readers. And so like he used that trope, and so it's called Dear Readers, Wizard People. And it's so funny. It's so funny because it's like he's reading a book on tape, but it matches up with the movie. I don't know how to describe it, but it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And he like gives everyone goofy names. And the one that cracks me up is McGonagall is Hardcastle McCormick. And so whenever I say hard battle, it makes me think of Hardcastle, and so I just go with hard battle McCormick. And that's why I say that. And probably no one cares. Probably no one is interested, but that's why I do that. That's why I say that. And you should absolutely all go check out Harry Potter Dear Readers, Wizard People. It's so funny. You can download it for free. He has like a version that you can download for free where it's like because like you can just download the audio file, so that like you put on the movie, and at the same time you start the movie, you just like press play on the audio track that you have just like on a separate like speaker system or something. Like you can try and sync it up that way, or like he has downloaded the version that I've got saved. Like he did it where like he put the audio over the video so that it's like already like properly in sync as it needs to be, because there are like some comedically timed bits where it's like you do like a smash cut in the movie, right? The editing of the movie just a smash cut, and the way he narrates it just like sells it. But it's so good. It's so good. And that is why I say Hard Battle McCormick. So if you are wondering, which I'm sure none of you were, that's where it comes from. That's what I do. That's why I say that. All right. Okay, so the room 5, so we need to come up with a reward for room 5 here. The reward there is going to be more lore. Great. Put our lore there. Okay, so we got the hard battle, lore, and then we'll put the details there in a bit. Great. Room 6 here. This is going to be, we need to redo this one. That's going to end up having an easy battle. My pen might be dying here. All right. This one we need to change to an easy battle. So now, let's see. So we can leave everything pretty much the same. But what I'm going to do here is we're going to do easy battle. That's going to be worth 500 experience points now. We could just do, I don't know, I think it'd be fun to do like 2 juveniles and a baby or something like that. So, but yeah, we can do 500 experience points. Oops, not 550. 500 XP. Oh. And then we can say a small group of young elephants seems to be at play in front of this store today. And we can just do that. Like today, like it's a different day. Different things are happening, right? They seem innocent and friendly, but being elephants, they are massive, and you suspect even their version of playing would be very painful for you. For you? Be very painful for you. So there we go. All right. And then the rest of that can be the same there, for as they enter the shop. That's good. And then we can do. Now we gotta just get our. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do 2 juveniles and then 1 baby. What I think I was gonna do. Yeah. So copy that. Yeah, we're gonna make this this section very heavy on the juvenile and baby elephants, which is gonna be just like perfect for the guilt trip of our players, right? Make them really feel like jerks for killing a bunch of babies. So we got 2 of those, and then 1 of one of these little babies. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that right there. Boom. Excellent. And so now, like this one, I feel like I actually want to keep this one as just having the rune in it, right? Because, like, that's going to be, like, that's the item there, and I don't want there to just randomly be anything different. So I'm going to actually do that, and we can mark off our rune segment for this one around, and that'll stay the same. That's perfect. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that works. So the only other things that we're missing then, wondering here. So we've got treasures and potions and potions. Maybe what we can do actually, because we've only got one, and then 2. We got 2 more rooms. that are empty. Yeah, we'll just put what we'll do is it'll kind of shortchange our players a little bit to do it this way, but maybe what we'll do is we'll put potions in one of those rooms and just like some money, some sort of treasure in the other room, and then every other room we'll just leave the reward the same. I think that makes the most sense. Because again, like, why would there just randomly be new rewards in any of these buildings, you know? Like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make any sense. So we'll just do that. We'll leave all of these things largely the same. Like the rewards and stuff largely the same. I think that'll work out really well. I think that'll be a good way to go about it. Okay. All right. Excellent. Yeah. I think that's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it. Okay, so we'll do it that way. We do need to change this. This is not going to have a boss battle anymore. Instead, this one's going to end up having a medium battle. Go ahead and just do medium battle. We'll have the chalk / nothing, right? Because our players will presumably have already found the chalk. So if it's a medium battle, that was 1,000. A medium battle, that was worth 1,000 experience points. 1,000 XP. Oh yeah, that's right. Cool school tools. I forgot that was the name of the school supplies shop. Oh my gosh. Because it had to roll off the tongue. But then it was meant to make like learning and kid stuff seem cool. So we had to replace one of the S's with a Z. That's why it's cool school tools. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Oh, that makes me so happy. I'm so happy that that's how we went with everything there. With 950 experience points. My god, that's just so wonderful. Let's do 1,000 again. We'll just do 2 big elephants with a baby elephant. Let's do it that way. I think that's perfect. So yeah, excellent. Yeah, so we can just do one of the babies. Yeah, 1,000 experience points. One of our little babies. Excuse me, copy that. That's this one. Got 1 baby. And then 2. It's perfect. We already got the 1 and 2. And then it'll be 2 of these guys. The giant boar version. Copy that. And then I put that right. Perfect. All right. I love it. I love it. Okay, yeah, I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I don't remember what that's from, but I remember that chant. That rhyme sticks in my brain. I feel like it's a song. Maybe it's a song. I don't know. See, this is the problem. This is the problem with my brain and the way it remembers references. I remember the references, but I never remember where they're from, so I can't ever credit people appropriately. Really, all it is my brain is just forcing me to be an absolute, like, source stealing piece of crap. You know, and I can't help it. I don't want to be a credit hog, but I can't stop it. It's my brain. My brain is busted up, and that's just how it approaches things. All right, so this actually can kind of stay as an easy battle, because that's all that we have left to organize. We have the easy battle there. All those rooms are gone, and then that's going to be an easy battle as well. So we'll do easy battle here. That's going to be different, though. That's going to be 500 XP. I kind of want to just do 5 of the little babies. Just a whole, like, basically an entire herd of baby elephants. For 2 reasons. One, the stated reason of just really making my players feel bad about everything they do, right? Because, like, if I'm not making my players feel like real pieces of poop for killing things, then what am I even doing as a DM? But the other reason that it occurs to me why this is an excellent idea, pardon me, I'm Xing off everything that we need here because we pretty much figured it all out. The other reason why we're going to go with all the baby elephants is because that means that we have an excuse to, for multiple sessions now, as players are exploring this area for multiple sessions, we can just put on the baby elephant march for background music and just let it go and just put it on loop. It's just like the whole evening. Da 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 da. Right? We can just have that. It's such a wonderful, pleasant, boppy little thing. And just like, imagine trying to murder someone to that in the background, right? Like, you'd feel conflicted. If you're a normal person, you would feel conflicted and troubled by the fact that you've got that cheery, like, you know, going on as you're just like hacking up a baby elephant, right? Like, there's some sort of like twist, like dark, gruesome twist about doing it that way. It's just, oh, chef's kiss delicious. I love it. So that's, you know, I think we've got a winning combo here. I think we've got a winning combo of screwing with our players and creating an environment that's really just going to confuse the piss out of anyone who encounters it. And again, if that's not what being a DM is about, then frankly, I just think I misunderstand the whole role that I'm taking on here. Just, I don't know. That's just my take on it. That's just my take on it personally. So, I don't know. You do what you want to do with your weird game, but if you're not trying to screw with the emotions of your players, then I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why you're playing this game. Just seems, you know, it's beyond me. God, what a horrible mantra in life to have. If you're not actively ruining other people's lives, I just don't really know what you're doing with yours. Seems like a waste if you ask me. It's a bad take. I mean, someone coming in here without any context of who I am and my sense of humor is gonna be like, this guy's a real sadist. What a horrible person. what a terrible evil man. All right, we'll do. Let's see. This one, it doesn't matter. But we'll put money in here, and then we'll put. So this one has to have an easy battle as well. We'll figure out the exact composition of that when we get there, and then this one for the reward, because we did money in that one, we'll just go ahead and do potions in this one. Great, super duper. It would make more sense for there to be potions in one of these ones. I'm gonna do that instead. We're gonna put potions in this one because it's a magic shop. Why would there not be potions there, right? And why would there be potions literally anywhere else? We kind of came up with a few reasons for some of these other ones, like a first aid kit, but really, there we go. We'll do it that way. That's perfect. That's perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean serviceable. You know, if that's not the colloquial definition of perfect, I don't know what is. Oh, golly. Okay, we'll start getting some details here. We got plenty of time to keep going and getting some details. I kind of like this 4 hours of writing thing. Like, I really feel like I'm getting some progress done here, and I feel like it really is a lot easier to just kind of get that momentum and go for it. I feel less crunched for time writing stuff. This is great. I'm kind of into this. Like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like the change, I don't know. Whatever. My stream, I can do what I want. No, hopefully it's working for everyone. But I'm liking this, and especially because I have to go to the bathroom again. Like I say, I'm keeping very well hydrated these days, which is good. You should do the same. Everyone, stay hydrated. Hydrate. Drink lots of water throughout the day. And I'm doing maybe a little more than is necessary, but like I say, like I've pointed out, I'm recovering from a head injury, and I feel like hydration is an extremely important part of that to help make sure I don't have like headaches throughout the day and stuff like that. Been working so far, and I ain't fixing a broken system, but it does mean I have to go to the bathroom again. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom again, and then we'll be right back, and we will continue what we're working on. So sit tight. I appreciate your patience. I'll be right back. refreshing. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Before I get comfortable, I'm going to refill my beverage one more time. So that way I can go to the bathroom again soon. Go. A little makeshift seat cover was sliding down there. Had to fix that up. Yeah, it's funny. You know, I didn't... Until actually really recently, I was never really, like, you know, the type of person... Like, I feel like I've become... Hang on. Port in the way. I feel like... Until recently, I've recently become one of them goofballs that's obsessed with hydration. Like, the type of person I always used to kind of roll my eyes at. You know, to always talk about, like, oh, I gotta have my water bottle, I gotta drink so much water throughout the day. I always used to kind of roll my eyes. Because I didn't really, you know, obviously you don't want to be dehydrated, right? I always recognize that, but I never really, internalized the concept of being, like, really well hydrated. I always just kind of thought, like, I mean, yeah, as long as you're not unhealthy, then, you know, you're probably hydrated enough. And I think when it comes to, like, actual just general function and getting through the day, that's true. But going through my weight cut and having to be super mega ultra hydrated, like, granted, that was swinging the pendulum a little too far in the opposite direction, right? So it's like, I got to find a balance there. But, like, going from... You know, someone who, like, would only just occasionally drink something when I was thirsty and didn't really put much attention to making sure I was getting good, high levels of water intake throughout the day. Like, going from that to then going to being extremely hydrated, I noticed a difference. Like, I really noticed a difference. I felt a bit perkier. I felt a bit more awake throughout the day. Granted, that could just be because I had to pee constantly. So again, finding the right balance. I was at like 2 gallons a day. It's like, okay, maybe tighter that back to 1 gallon a day. You know, like it was a lot of water for the weight cut. But like I noticed that, like I noticed myself just kind of looking a bit brighter and a bit more alert and aware, being and feeling more alert and aware. And like the other thing too is it's really surprising. You wouldn't think it. But when you're chugging, like, I kind of was skeptical about the concept of water cutting involving drinking more water. Because I was like, well, if I'm trying to cut out water, why would I drink more? Don't I want to drink less? But I kind of went with it. But the thing is like, it kicks your body's metabolism into such high gear that I actually lost weight while drinking the water. Like, because the idea is that you drink a ton of water, right, and get your body into high gear. So that way, then when you cut it off, your body is still like, kind of in that like, oh, there's more coming, so we got to just like flush the system out. And that's how it kind of does that. But even before I got to that point, when I was still actively drinking like 2 gallons of water a day, like I lost a pound or 2 within the first day of just like water weight. And it was just because my body wasn't like retaining anything. So not only did I just generally feel perkier, you know, felt more awake and everything, but I was less bloated. I was less bloated and more comfortable in general because my body wasn't retaining all this extra fluid because I was providing everything it needed. So like I'm not going to be that guy who sits there and is like, oh yeah, I got my water bottle, I need to drink this much a day. But I've kind of gotten myself in the habit of like roughly every hour, I just keep a small glass next to my water filter, just like a small glass, like not a big one, you know, like this is a big glass, right? Like a small glass, like a half the size of this. Just that, and it's just like once per hour, just kind of throw one of those back on top of, you know, of filtered water. I have to do filtered because the city I'm in has tons of chlorine and it messes with my system. When I first moved here, I was like glued to the toilet for a week and I was so confused because I was like, I haven't changed anything. And then I caught a whiff of the water and realized it smelled like a pool and I figured out what it was. So I got to do filtered here. The point is, it's just filtered tap water. And I just throw back a glass of tap water. And it sounds like I'm shilling for big water or something like that, but like, my God, it made a difference. So it's like, it's kind of irritating how often I have to go to the bathroom, and I might tighten it back just a little bit just to try and like lessen that. But I gotta say, I'm a bit of a convert. I've been convinced that like, hey, just like routinely drinking more water throughout the day has actually been kind of a good thing for me. So, I don't know. Take that as you will. Maybe that means something to you in your life. But I can advocate for the fact that more water, like going from probably not drinking enough water to drinking enough water, did make a noticeable difference. Like, am I suddenly like running faster, jumping higher? No. But I feel better. And like that's a significant thing. It's like how many of us go through life just thinking that like this routine background effect of like having stiff joints or like, low grade minor headaches every other day is a normal thing. But then like if you find a trick, like drinking more water, that suddenly makes that go away. It's like how many of us would be like, oh, that's significantly better. Right. And that's like the thing for me, like muscle soreness is one of the big ones. Like after a hard workout, just drinking more water for me, like that's making a big difference in me just not feeling stiff and sore after tough workouts. And we're talking like a couple hours afterwards, like immediately after, as long as you stretch right, that can help. But then like just by keeping my body, hydrated and keeping that body elasticity up there helps my muscles not get all stiff and crunchy after a workout. So yeah, I gotta say, I'm a bit of a I've seen the light. I have seen the light. I have become a believer. I don't know, just anecdotal evidence. I don't know. It's like don't publish a paper based on my experience or anything, but if you're looking for testimonials about small changes you can make in life to maybe have noticeable improvements on quality of life, try drinking an extra glass of water every couple hours and just see what that does for you. I don't know. I'm sold. I'm sold, and I will continue to do that. As long as I can keep myself dedicated and focused on doing it, which will hopefully be the rest of my life. But no, I'm not gonna sit here and make that kind of long distance claim right here. I mean, granted, I had a bit of a a revelation about how old I am a little bit ago, but the flip side of it is I'm only 30, man. I got like 70 years of my life left, presumably, assuming. Well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't assume that. I did just, like I say, I voluntarily signed up to step in the ring and got myself knocked out. It's like I keep doing stupid stuff like that. Gonna like trend closer and closer to that average male lifespan of mid-70s. But the point is, even with that, there's a lot of years left. So I ain't gonna make a blanket statement about how the rest of those years are gonna go, but as long as I can focus and remember that it's a valuable thing for me, I'm gonna keep drinking a little bit more water. So there's, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. That's actually a topic that someone would do a TED Talk on. Wasn't there a TED Talk where a guy talked about like how to properly use paper towel or something like that? Was that a real one or was that just a spoof? I can't remember. I remember there being a TED Talk about paper towel, but I feel like I also remember hearing that was just like a gag and that wasn't an actual TED Talk. But I feel like that happened right around the time when people started noticing that like the quality of TED Talks started to like nosedive. Because like TED Talks used to be these like really hour-long things about like really interesting topics that like everyone was interested in, but also did genuinely have like really big topics that people were interested in, but also like offered small things that you could do in your life to impact whatever that big topic was. So it's like the big topic would be like, global warming, and it would be a TED Talk that would like talk about the severity of it, but then would also be like, here are some things that you as an individual can do. And it's like, and that's like why people love TED Talks for a little while. And then then there was like this shift and they got weird and they started turning into like going from these hour-long lectures of like really interesting deep topics by like really educated professionals on the topic to just being like some jagoff who went on there and be like, this is my TED Talk about why I like this vacuum cleaner better than the other one. right? And they turned into like infomercials of like carpetbaggers, just like instead of going door to door, just like showing up in your YouTube suggestions feed. There was like a notable shift in the quality of them, and I never really researched it, but I remember that's when the paper towel dude came out, and everyone was like, "What is this?" And so I feel like that one was a spoof. I feel like that one was a spoof that came out like directly as a criticism of what TED Talks were becoming. I feel like I remember that, but hell, I don't know. I don't know. I digress. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Oh my god. Okay, let's go ahead and work on some of these rooms a little bit, I suppose. Okay, room 1. Safe and the money. So yeah, we got all that stuff there. Because this was a previously existing one. Previously had some rhinos. No longer going to be enemies in front of it. Great, handled. I don't think we need to do anything else. This one, medium battle. We already handled the changing of the changing of the god. And then we have the lore there. That's perfect. That's just fine, because that was going to be where Sis's parents worked. They had that general store, right? If we remember our history about our little dude, our dude Sis and his wizardy stuff. That was kind of his shtick there. So that one's good. You know, like his family, like he grew up his shtick. I'm like, there was no explanation in there. I got distracted. My brain wandered before my voice machine finished talking about it. Sis grew up he was born to parents who were general storekeepers, and then when it was discovered that he had magical abilities, he was sponsored to go to university and learn all about that. But he grew up working in his parents' general store, and that's what that store is. There. That's the shtick. That's the spiel. That's all of the other words that we can come up with. Great. All right, so now this room is going to be trapped. This is where, like, Sis has kind of trapped his own shop here. I kind of like this, too. I kind of like this being trapped. Even though our players are going to be working for Sis, and they are certainly going to be indignant about him sending them to his shop without warning them that he has trapped his own shop, right? Like, there's absolutely going to be some indignance from players, but I think it works really well, and I like this because Sis has lost his mind, and he does not have a clear understanding of when it is. He does not have a clear understanding of what is going on in the world anymore, and he definitely does not have clear recollection of what he has done in the past in the city, what things he has set up. His brain is not there. His brain is not there as a combination of just trauma and tragedy, as well as just immense age, because he's thousands of years old by his own magical doings. He's basically, I mean, he kind of Voldemorted himself. He didn't split his soul, but he certainly found ways to stay alive unnaturally. So that's just kind of what he's, I suppose that's more like a Nicholas Flamel situation, you know, with the Sorcerer's Stone and all that. Yeah. Going with that, and it all goes back to much earlier than Harry Potter, like fairy tales and stuff of people finding immortality. The point is he's real old and his brain doesn't work right anymore. So I really like this thing where it's like, you know, players are gonna have to deal with this trap, because I can totally envision players going back to Sis and being like, yo, what the hell, you know, and being like all mad about that, and Sis would be just like, I don't remember that, I don't know what you're talking about, and like he would be completely honest about it. I think that works really well. Yeah, so now we gotta come up with a trap. Well, maybe it's just like the whole door is a guillotine, so if you're the first person to walk into it, you just get sliced in half hot dog way, right? It just goes right down through the top of your noggin. No, that's a little twisted. And that Sis is magical. He would come up with some sort of magical trap. I'm gonna go ahead and outsource finding out the trap here. I'm gonna go to one of my favorite resources here, this Kassoon resource. I am a big fan of this one. You can go into D&D here, and they have generators, and you can go down here, and they have all kinds of awesome generators. Some of them better than others. I I don't use all of these generators. Some of them I go to other places for the same type of generator, right? So it's like they've got like magical items. Like I've got different things that I like to use for the magical items, and a lot of it is just because of how things are formatted. But one thing that I love about this one is they have traps and puzzles, and you can tell that they're like user submitted type of things, and it's cool because I really like that because you get a very wide range of styles and approaches to making traps and puzzles when you set it up that way and you let other people submit theirs, because everyone's DM brain works a little differently. So I really like to use these as like starting blocks. What I'll do is I'll look at one of these things and think like, oh, this seems like a cool idea. Let's see if we can't modify this, if we can't massage it a little bit so that it fits a bit more with my setting and what I want to achieve with it. But this is a really good resource. So you know, I highly recommend going to Kassoon, Kassoon. Oops, no, I did not mean to click on anything else. I did not want to get premium. Thank you though. So I'm immediately looking at Dissonant Whispers here. A door or chest is rigged to activate when opened, which releases the spell stored within the trapped object. 7 to hit. Trigger. Door activates when a door or chest is opened. Countermeasures. Cast Dissonant Whispers. And then we can actually go ahead and get it pulled up here. Dissonant. Just to kind of give it a look here. Oh, you know why? It's because it's looking in. It's looking in only the abjuration spells. So let's go to spells here. That's why it's doing that. Search for Dissonant. Dissonant Whispers, just so I can remember it. You whisper a discordant melody that only one creature of your choice within range can hear, racking it with terrible pain. Target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction available to move as far as its speed allows. Oh man, this is perfect. Oh, this is perfect. I forgot about the part where it makes people run away. Oh my gosh, players are going to totally run into the elephants now. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh gosh, I can I feel internal pleasure at how perfect this is gonna be. It's like when you slip into a hot tub and your whole body is just like relaxed and like, oh, it's perfect. Like that's how I feel right now. This is amazing. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm into it. Hell yeah, we're doing the Dissonant Whispers trap. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be the front door. Oh, actually, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to put it on this door, the door that goes between 3 and 4. I think. I don't know, because the one thing that I'm realizing, though. Here's what I've realized. Here's what I just realized. I was going to say, oh yeah, we put it on the door, so when players open it up and activate the door, except that this whole wall is busted out, and that's what allows them to go in there, because previously the door was barricaded. So now I'm thinking what would be really good is maybe there's a chest with all of his like valuable potions or something in it, and like that when players try to open that to activate the chest, or try to open the chest, that's what'll activate it. Maybe that's what we'll do. That would work, because we could do that, or we could do it in between here, between these two rooms. The one problem I have with that though is if this is meant to be kind of like the entire shop that's all together, and this is just like a room that separates two different parts of the shop, like maybe this is his workshop area. Oh wait, no, that's it. This is his workshop area. That's his workshop, and so he had the big window so he could display things that he was working on back in the day, and that's why there's this big picturesque window. But that's why he blocks that too, because this was his workshop. That's it right there. We solved it. So we'll put the trap right there. We'll put the trap right there on activating that door, and then the puzzle will be unlocking the chest like back here where he keeps all of his, or he used to keep, I guess still kind of keeps all of his supplies, which is where players will need to look to find the thing that they were going to get him at this stage. There it is. We got there. See, this is, oh man, I love this. I love writing stuff, man. It's so fun to like kind of work through and figure this stuff out. Like how is it possible that there are people who aren't into this? Man, I love this type of stuff. I don't know, I shouldn't talk smack. Different people have different forms of creativity and different things that they like doing. But man, oh man, it's so fun to kind of come up with these things. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Yes, so the trap exists on this door here. Oops. Yeah, there we go. That's what I need. Trap exists on this door right there. We can put like a little marker right there to indicate it or something. And then the puzzle will be in there. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. That's it. All right. So, okay. As you pick your way through the fresh wreckage of the wall left behind by what you presume was a very rambunctious, did I spell that right? Oh, I got rambunctious right on the first try. Apparently hour 4 of a 4-hour writing stream is when I unlock my creative superpowers and come up with great ideas that I love and toot my own horn about and can spell difficult words. Ah, man. Y'all are lucky to be here in my presence right now. God, can you imagine just being that arrogant? Ah, man. My presence is a present to you all. It was a very rambunctious elephant. As you pick your way through the fresh wreckage of the wall left behind by what you presume was a very rambunctious elephant, you find yourselves in the storefront of what must have once been a magical library. Wait, here, before we do that, I actually want to I want to add something here. The sign outside of this shop immediately catches your eye. Boom, boom. Quote, Sis's Sorceries. Boom, right there. That's the name of Sis's shop, because this was his shop, right? This was going to be his shop. It is. It's not even that it's going to be. It actively is. We put the title there. It's there. That's it. It catches your eye. Sis's Sorceries. So this is his shop, and so like I kind of like the idea of that being there too, because I kind of want there to be that intrigue for players in that first part when everything's still locked up tight. It's gonna be hard for them to get in, right? They see that's a shop and they're like, oh, we want to get in there, and you just make it so that there's not an easy way to get in yet. And so we can kind of leave that as it is in our other one when we go back and we put these things into the previous map. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm really happy with how things are panning out at this exact moment. This is good. As you pick your way through the fresh wreckage of the wall left behind by what you presume is a very rambunctious elephant, find yourself in the storefront of what must have once been a magical, not library, a magical laboratory. All sorts of different items with different enchantments. Actually, no, we're gonna say, I want to do this. Though the shelves are empty, labels left behind belie, right? Belie is the right word here. But because like I always think of belie as being like betray, only not something that was in confidence, right? So like it gives something away, but not as detrimental as betraying, right? Because like betray is you gave something away even though you promised you wouldn't. Belie is more so that it gives something away in an innocuous sense. If I had that right, you know, it's a really good way to do this. Figure this out. We can just like look up these words. Can we look up these words and not look up this word? Is that only a Microsoft Word thing? Smart lookup, I guess. Value of privacy. Got it. Okay, whatever. Smart lookup. Fail to give a true notion or impression of something. Disguise. Oh, okay. So I have it kind of the opposite. Contradict. Oh, look at that. I learned something. I'm glad I looked it up. Okay. Yeah, for some reason I thought belie was that. Look at that. We learned something today. Labels left behind. I guess betray would be the right word, but I don't like that. It feels, I don't know. It just feels a little more confrontational. Labels left behind. I guess we'll just say indicate. That feels a little mundane, but that's fine. Labels left, though the shelves are empty, labels left behind indicate that they were once well stocked with magical items of all sorts. Well, okay. Most seem to have been items intended to make daily chores much more bearable, right? Because it's a small town. He's not like he's like trying to service a big giant witch's coven or something like that. He's just trying to like he worked in conjunction with his parents' general shop, right? So it's just like things that were like everyday tools. So it's like self-sweeping rooms, self-closing door hinges. I don't know what else. What else would be like a helpful everyday magical thing, right? Like a rug that hangs itself up and beats it, right? Or like a laundry tub that like, oh, I like that one. Here we go. Laundry tubs that purify the water as you go, right? So it's like you're always washing with clean water rather than eventually ending up with like dirty laundry water, stuff like that, and other similar items of convenience. However, it appears that the shelves have long been emptied, as the dust is uniform throughout the store. So like there are no like not dusty parts of shelves left over where someone recently removed a bunch of books or something like that. We can do that. We'll do that. That's perfect. Wait, hold on. But we need to do the trap. So we'll say in the back of the room, you notice a door that seems to lead to the neighboring storefront. The one that had no front door. There we go. So now we can start putting in our trap notations here. And so let's see here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I just want to do, we'll just copy and paste some of these. So we'll have it be, okay, all right. What do I want to do? I'm going to do sub bullets here. We'll start with this. Say, okay, so let's say this door is rigged to cast dissonant whispers on anyone within. I'm gonna make this kind of powerful because like our king wizard guy here, he's a very good wizard and he's the one who put it up here, and so he'll have made it powerful. So I want to say anyone within 10 feet of the door when it opens. I'm going to do DC. I wanted to set it to DC 11 to notice the rune etched under the doorknob. Actually, you know what? I want to make that harder because it's really small. He was clever about this. I want to make that 14. So DC 14 to notice that there. If opened without disarming, actually, you know what? Doorknob can only be disarmed with magic. So, like, there's not, I'm not going to have this one set up with like a tripwire or anything like that. It's like, it's a magically sealed door. So if they break the door, they break the seal of the door by opening it. That's what'll do it. So there's like no tripwire to deactivate or anything like that. Is what my thought is. So we'll leave that. So we'll do it like that. Woman without disarming. That's when it might be easier to just like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and copy this. A bit easier. Wow. One, keep text only. Yeah, that's what Dissonant whispers centered on the, I'm gonna say instead of on the trigger, centered on, wait, hold on, let me see something. Let me double check. Dissonant whispers. What's the range? Range is, oh, the range is 60 feet. Yeah, so we don't need to do within the 10 feet. Yeah, so we'll just say centered on the door. That's what I was forgetting there. Okay, so to cast Dissonant Whispers, we're just gonna say centered on the door. Boom, right there. Okay, so centered on the, we'll just say centered on the door with DC 15, and that's to save. And that should be the one thing. It's, yeah, DC 15 to save. That should be, what is that, a wisdom? Yeah, wisdom save. Okay. I'm going to just put that right in there so we have it. DC 15. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to say wisdom save. Boom, there we go. And then otherwise it's the Dissonant Whispers. And I think that we can just kind of leave it at that because the last part of it being, you know, Dissonant Whispers is kind of self-explanatory. You just pull out the spell details if you. So that's good. I think that's good as it is. Let me just double check our trap one more. Immediately is available. Move as far away. Yeah, so just damage and everything. That's good. Spotting the attached wire. Yeah, so I'm gonna say instead it just does that. Yeah, I don't want this to be. Yeah, dispel magic. Yeah. Cancel the stored spell. Yeah, I do like that one. That's the one that we're gonna leave there. The one thing I'm gonna do with magic, and we'll say DC 15. Go ahead and keep that. That's good. So I know that doing it without the tripwire is gonna make it really tough for players to necessarily break through there. But damn it, they're getting a key item out of there, out of that room that they're trying to go on. I can't make it easy. I can't make it easy on them. Like they have to be willing to figure some stuff out. Because this is another situation too where it's like if they get creative enough and I like what they're coming up with and there seems to be decent logic, I'll allow them to get creative with it and do different things. I'll 100% allow that. Like that's A-okay in my book. So there's a good chance that they won't necessarily have to do it that way, but I like having it that way. You know, for like I like it. I like it that way. I like it being difficult because this is like an important step for them. In terms of handling this whole chapter, this is a really important step. They need what they're going there to find. They absolutely need that stuff. So I think that's great. I think that is just great. Perfect. Okay, so now potions here. Potions. I'm just gonna kind of wing this one. I kind of know what I want to do. We're just gonna say DC 12 to notice a few bottles. Oh man, my nose is doing that thing where it just itches all day long. I feel like a crazy person just sitting here constantly scratching my nose, but it's doing that thing. It does that. Oh, it drives me insane. I hate when it does this. Absolutely hate it. DC 12 to notice a few bottles shoved to the back of a top shelf in the corner. So there are some bottles there. There are some potions for them to grab, but they're tucked way in the back. As you search this room, you do manage to find something that was left behind. Few potion bottles stand way in the back of top shelf of one of the cabinets. It will say it takes some standing on tippy toes, but you manage to reach the bottles and find the following. Boom, there we go. We'll just do 3 of our greater healing potions, and then greater healing potions, and then I don't know what other potions would be good here. Kind of like them to be a little bit like relevant, but when I think about, you know what I'm actually gonna do, because there's, oops, excuse me, I kind of bumped my mic there. I apologize. Hope I didn't deafen anyone. Because I'm only doing 1 additional thing of potions for this when I would normally do 2, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and have them be 5 greater healing potions. Like there was just like a shelf of the greater healing potions that like just didn't quite empty out on accident, and so there's just a bunch of them sitting up there. I actually like that. And I'm gonna intentionally leave it that way. So great. Okay, now I'm definitely gonna come across as a crazy person because I know I just went. I need to go to the bathroom again. we might be tipping towards the overhydrated. We might be on that side of the hill right now, but I'm gonna run to the bathroom. It's gonna be the last time, and then we're gonna be able to go to the end without me having to. So give me just like 1 minute. I will be right back, and then we will keep going to the finish line. Hell yeah! Alrighty. Thank you for your patience once again. Thank you for your patience, like all day doing this. I'm just getting back to, like I said, I'm just getting back to streaming after taking some time off, and trying to re-regulate, and I'm kind of in the process of relearning my body, like post fight. Like I spent so long prepping for a fight and living that lifestyle that I kind of don't remember how to live comfortably and like how to handle my body now that I'm not in that scenario. So thank you for your patience as I'm, trying to figure out exactly how much fluid I should be drinking at any given time, and all that kind of stuff. It just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Like, it's one thing that, like, the whole process of kickboxing in general, but then definitely preparing for and participating in, a kickboxing fight in a ring and everything. Like, I have learned so much about my body that I did not know about it beforehand. Right? Like, I've learned how easy it can be for me to manipulate my weight right? Like, and that's different than body composition, right? Like, it can take a lot of work to change your body composition, right? To like really increase muscle mass or anything like that. Like, it can take a lot of work to do that. But when it comes to just your weight, like, it's really easy to manipulate that. Like, it's real easy. Like, I was walking at like 160, and then within a couple weeks, weighed in for my fight at 152 pounds. And then a week off of doing all of that, like a week of not monitoring my diet, letting myself just eat all of the salty, crappy food that I want, not working out, and letting my body just get like re-bloated with like water and like salty foods and all kinds of like not watching how much I eat and what I eat and when I eat and all that kind of stuff. I plumped back up to 165. So like I've slingshotted all over the place. And it's like, you know, that's over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, right? And so it's like, it's not like I'm sitting here changing my muscle mass that dramatically there. That is all just like water and food, you know, like that's all it is. And it's just like, I've learned so much about my body, but one of the weird things now is like kind of learning the other side of that, right? Like I learned how to dial in my weight and really lower my weight intentionally and all that kind of stuff. But now I gotta like relearn what it's like to be just like a functioning, you know, like fitness oriented, certainly like still fitness oriented, but not like a non-competitive type of body again. Like I need to relearn how that works, right? Because I spent like a month and a half getting my body ready for competition. So now that I'm not doing that, I got to remember what it's like to just exist that way. It's weird. It's really weird. It's really weird how that changes. So I don't know, like just take it from me. If it's not something you've experienced, take it from me. It's a bizarre feeling seeing and feeling your body change that much. And so like that's definitely what I'm going through today a lot with a lot of this like frequent bathroom break stuff. So I appreciate the patience. And it's kind of a weird thing to thank people for, but I don't know. I know it can be weird if like you're sitting there watching and it's like every 20 minutes it seems like, you know, the guy you're watching is like, hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like it's really weird, but I don't know. Anyway, now that I've addressed that more than anyone asked me to, let's see here. So I kind of want to, I've been doing sort of in my own personal writing projects, right? So like writing the campaign that I'm running for my players right now. I kind of changed my approach to rather than like write a room, then decorate, then write, then decorate. I've kind of been going just like write all the rooms and then make the map. I'm not convinced I like that more, but I'm also not convinced that I like it less at this point. So I'm going to try that a little bit. And we're just going to go through and get all the writing done. Because like, again, with me being like a momentum-based productivity kind of person, like it's kind of nice to just be in the writing mindset and just kind of go for it and just like write and write and write. And then when it's time to make the map, I can just like make the whole map, right? Rather than having to like stop and start and stop and start, all those things. I think it results in me spending a little less time, you know, admiring my work, because I'm not trying to like go back, you know, like on the front end of things, I'm not sitting there trying to like get my mindset into things. And then because I'm, you know, going, especially with the map making, but also with the writing, you know, like it's not like I make something in the map and then like sit there and be like, yeah, that does look good. Okay, going back. Instead, it's like, okay, that room is good. On to the next room, on to the next room. And it just like the momentum carries me. So it cuts out a lot of that sort of like idle time, which I'm now, you know, wasting all of that saved time by just sitting here discussing it. But I don't know. I kind of like some of these change ups that I'm doing. And the thing is, it's nice if you've never done it. Like, I don't know. And maybe this is just something that's unique to me because I'm a very schedule and routine oriented person. Like I operate the best when I have a routine, a schedule that I can follow. Like I schedule every hour of every day. That's just what I do because I work best when I know what I'm doing at any given time. And it actually makes it easier for me to like go with the flow and change things because like if something catches me off guard and I have to change the routine, I know what comes next. So it's easy for me to know how that change impacts my day. And it makes it easier for me to understand like, oh, okay. So because this appointment came up today, that means I have to change this, that, and the other thing. So that way I can handle that appointment. That's no problem. I can shuffle this thing over there and still get that done today. This thing, it's not a big deal if I miss it, right? So it's like, it just makes it easier for me. I'm very schedule oriented. But the thing about that is I find that it's helpful like once or twice a year. I find it's really helpful to shake things up. to mix up what I'm doing and change the routine a little bit, right? So it's like for me, I'm doing that with like changing up how I'm approaching streaming and how I'm approaching my writing. And doing that I find can be really helpful because as much as I like routines, sometimes when you get stuck in a routine, it becomes too easy to be like complacent with things, and like your focus can kind of dwindle because everything is same old, same old. Whereas if you mix it up, then suddenly that kind of gets your brain like more alert, and it's like, oh, things are different. I got to pay attention. I got to focus on what I'm doing. And it just makes things feel a bit fresher, makes me feel a bit more motivated because it gets me excited to think like, oh yeah, let's try it this way. That might work, right? Because there's not necessarily one right or wrong way. You just find a different way to approach it. And so that can kind of motivate you a little bit. So I don't know. If you're a schedule oriented person like me, give it a shot, right? Like make sure you mix up that schedule from time to time. It can be good for you. That's what I'm doing. What I'm working on right now, anyway. So now let's come up with a puzzle. Boy, ugh. Ooh, awkwardly spitting a little bit there. My bad. One of the beautiful things about me doing this like on a screen and you guys watching me on a screen, when I'm gross, you guys aren't subject to it. Like, I've been farting all day long. You have no idea. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I'll never tell. I'm not putting a mic down there for you to find out. That's for damn sure. Why not? Let's come up with a puzzle. So again, I'm going to use this tool. Come up with our puzzle generator. And again, I like to use this as a springboard. I don't always take things exactly as they are. I just like to use these as kind of a starting point. It helps kind of get the brain juices flowing a little bit here. This one, the room walls are covered with fresco paintings depicting children and ponies running through fire. I'm very intrigued by where this is going, but I can already tell this is not going to fit our setting. So I'm kind of going to move on, but I really want to know where this goes, so I'm going to keep reading it for a minute. They appear happy and laughing. Middle of the room is a crude stone chair that was put together and brought in from the outside. There's a non-magical cloak draped in the seat. The cloak is dark red with crystal blue silk trim, and the cloak is embossed with a flame pattern. Along the ceiling is a slender and long brass horn that travels from all corners of the room and meets at the middle just above the chair. In the four corners, the mouthpieces of the horn fall down the wall to just at the middle, about 5 feet up. Higher tubing of the horn is embossed with flame pattern. The characters do enough creative and cool shit, let them through. Oh my god, I love that. I love that. I really wanted to know what the payoff was, and the payoff is just like, here's something weird. Let your players goof off, and whatever they do is right. I really like that. Oh, I really like that. I'm not going to use that setup. I just love that. I love that payoff. I love that payoff because I love being able to be behind the curtain as the DM and knowing that there is no like prescribed conclusion. It's just like, here's something weird. Whatever the players do, it's right. I don't know. Oh, that's funny. That is really funny. When the characters do enough creative and cool shit, let them through. Oh my god. Oh my god, I love that. Honestly, not the worst tactic to take in this scenario. Since the puzzle is hiding a key item, I don't want this one. So like I talked about earlier, how I want puzzles to like have actual fail states. The exception is something like this, where the puzzle is hiding a key item, right? Like if it's something that they need in order to go through, you don't want to block them off of that, right? You don't want to stop them from being able to achieve that. So that's actually kind of a good tactic of it just being like, yeah, here's a puzzle of some sort. Here's something weird with weird stuff going on. You know, a real Tom Bombadil of a puzzle there where it's like, I don't know, even as the writer, I don't know what's going on here, but if the players figure it out, then we'll just go with it. We'll just yes and our way through that. Hell yeah. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm sorry. That is too good. I love that. All right, what's this other one? The room is a large square room with 4 doors on each face. Already it's not going to work. With the party entering from one of them. If they go through any of the doors, they'll find that the doors just go to the opposite side of the room. If they do a wisdom check, they'll find a lip on the floor that belongs to a door that if they swing open will also swing open a ceiling door. Ceiling floor door does not act in a dual manner, though, like the wall doors. What goes down the floor comes through the ceiling. What goes down the floor comes through ceiling, but what goes into the ceiling door goes into the exit alcove that leads down a 30-foot hallway to the next room. Okay, I think I tracked that one. That one was worded a little strangely. I'm not sure I'm into it. Okay, if anything, I'm gonna use this one. I'm see, now I'm thinking I'm changing my tune. I just love that. When the characters do enough creative and cool shit, let them through. My God. It's poetic. It's absolutely poetic. Just, oh, chef's kiss. Right? That's beautiful. It's beautiful right there. My God, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little different, but we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that approach here. Okay, so let's do let's do puzzle here. Okay, so entering this room through the door from the other side of this shop, you find yourselves in what was obviously a laboratory for creating enchanted items and experimenting with magic in general. Empty work benches and shelves fill this area. Though the scorch and scratch marks on the tables suggest that many creations have been invented in this room. Of particular interest is how do I want to say this? Is the one cabinet. There goes the one cabinet in this room that is not not gonna count. That is not empty. So latched tightly, you can see that inside is a substantial collection of various magical and alchemical supplies. Okay, so yeah, we'll do that. So now, on the sides of the cabinet are four horn-like instruments. Instruments. That's what you use to play baby making music. Instruments. It's also what they call instruments used to make, death metal. Black Sabbath all played instruments. They all played instruments. Yep. 100%. 100%. Marvin Gaye, that guy, super sexy. Yeah, 100% instruments right there. His voice was an instrument, honestly. The number of panties that dropped from him singing. Yeah. I like that instrument. I'm going to have to use that intentionally at some point. Okay, so besides the cabinet are four horn-like instruments with mouthpieces at head level on the sides and the trumpet sides. Is that the right term for it? The trumpet, like the bell. It's like the bell. With like the mouthpieces at the head level on the sides and the bells facing upwards above the top of the cabin. Okay, and so now I'm 100% gonna go ahead and just like do the spirit of let them do enough cool, creative and cool shit. What we'll say is, let players just play around with the instruments for a bit. Don't let them get it on the first try. Also, don't count it if... Oh, here we go. Here's what I want to do. Actually, I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly how I want to do. After a while, let them... After a while... Let me see. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what my thought is, like, let's make it so that a certain tune has to be played. Like a certain tune, like kind of like doing like a song on the ocarina, right? An Ocarina of Time. You got to use the mouthpieces. It's got to be 4 of them. They got to use the trumpets, and they got to come up with a little jingle. And what my thought is, so actually, here's what I want to do. Unlocking the cabinet requires playing a tune on the instruments. There is no correct tune, but definitely require that the 4 players participating each choose one note, and they collectively invent some sort of song / jingle IRL to unlock the cabinet. That's what I want to do. That's the creative shot. I don't care what song it is, but I want each, like, basically it's like if there's 4 players, it's like, okay, like I want to be able to say, like, they all do that, and I want to say, okay, you all, like, each of you guys pick a note, right? And they can do like some sort of like barbershop, like la 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 la, right? And like they each come up with a note, and then they have to, like, the 4 of them just like come up with some sort of little ditty to play for me and amuse me, and that will unlock it. I don't care what they play. I don't care how long it is. They just have to come up with an actual song, and they have to like pantomime playing it on these weird trumpet things. That's what I want. That's what I want out of them. I actually really love this idea. I love this idea a lot. I really want this to be something that they actually do. Oh my god, I love it. I love it so much. Okay. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Lore. So the lore of this room. Just say... I have an idea. Let's go ahead and say, tucked in the cabinet with the enchantment item they are searching for, players can find a small journal that Sis seems to have forgot about. Let's see here. Actually, hold on. Change this. It's supposed to be narrative. You find a small journal that Sis seems to have forgotten about. Based on the dates of this, and on these pages, it seems that this journal was from the earliest days of the unhinging. The later entries talk about how the people of the city have left that, and we'll say, and how Sis has stayed behind to protect the city for these people so that they have homes to return to. As we'll say, as time passes, tone seems to shift to more pessimism as Sis realizes that this is going to last much longer than he had originally thought. Final entry is not a positive one, as Sis begins to worry about how he'll ever keep the entire city intact for when the people eventually return. Boom. And so it's like, this is going to be just a good bit of lore for players to sort of start understanding sort of where the downward spiral of our wizard friend here began. And it really just kind of begins in a place of pessimism, where he's just worried about how, how he's going to manage to pull this off. Like, he's just kind of like starting to realize what a big task this is and how he's kind of in trouble. And it's like, that's an important step for him, right? Because like his decline it begins with just sort of this desperation to try and, whoa, hey, where'd my stuff go? What'd you do to me? What the hell? You see that? Did you see it all just like slide off to the side? What the hell happened? What the hell? What the hell's going on? Hold on. Oh, no. That was weird. You see that? Like, that was weird. That was really weird, right? That was strange. Okay, anyway. Like, why did it do that? Possessed. I guess my stuff is possessed. But yeah, like, that's gonna be their first insight, because it's kind of like what his decline started as. Just realizing that this is just a much bigger thing, a much more world-changing event than he had originally thought it would be. The unhinging. Like, that's what it is. And so like his decline kind of starts with him just starting to understand and realize that. So I think that's good. I think that's going to be some good lore for our player. Yeah. Okay, we got time. We can get at least one more room. Let's get at least one more here. I do want to just like make a note here. We'll say wall busted on Sis storefront. And this one will say door 2 3 Sis old laboratory. I just want to make little notes about what these, like, I kind of want to start making notes about sort of what these places are supposed to be, just as like the quick reference. That way I have a bit of an easier time, as a DM approaching and seeing these things and knowing exactly what I'm setting myself up for, or what scene I need to be setting up for my players for. So, okay. But yeah, let's try and get one more room. Hard battle McCormick. And now you all know exactly why I say that. Okay, so hard battle in this situation is gonna be worth 1,400. Could do. We did. Let's see. That's 900. Be 1,350. Yeah, it'd be 1,350. We could just do 3 big elephants. Let's do that. Let's do 1,350. 1,350 XP. And this one, there's there's gonna be stuff like that. It'll be an interesting one. We'll get there. It'll be an interesting one because they don't actually go through the front door. It's the busted out wall that they can go through. But let's go ahead and grab the. Oops, what I wanted to do. Bullet point that, and we want to do 3 of these. There we go. That's what we want. Let's see here. Standing outside of this storefront are 3 quite large elephants. They seem calm enough, but you also know that if you upset these guys, you are not going to want to be on the receiving end of any stomping feet or charging tusks. Simple as that. And then we can say, we'll just say, if players try the door, it's not gonna work. Let's try the door. You give the door a tug and it doesn't budge. After thinking for a moment, you have a brilliant, oops, there's 2 L's there. Brilliant idea and give the door a push. Unfortunately, it still doesn't budge. There we go. Oof, oof. Boy, oh boy, the fingers and the brain are getting tired. It's a good thing we're getting close to being done. I'm impressed with myself actually being this functional, like 4 hours into doing this kind of a stream. Like I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. Begrudgingly, you are forced to recognize that this door just isn't going to open for you that easily. Boom. So if they want to try and like bust their way in, they can. We'll just say when players get in either through front or through busted wall between this room and room 4. Man, what kind of shop do we want this one to be? I'm gonna have lore. Oh boy, I don't know. We can kind of just do whatever we want with this one. Good lore. Like, it'd be nice if we could find another way to give our players a bit more information about sort of how the decline of the city worked. Actually, I have a different idea. I have another idea. This is pretty simple. Okay, here we go. As you examine the wreckage between this shop and the and this lab next lab, notice that the ceiling has collapsed in along with the wall, and that there are some extremely large claw marks all over the wreckage. They are old marks, and you cannot tell what exactly caused them. Actually, no, they are large marks, and you can tell even from just a cursory glance that whatever this creature was, it was not something to trifle with. We can just do that. Just like I'm just kind of trying to paint a vague picture of like, oh man, things were really dangerous at some point, right? Like I'm just trying to kind of, like I say, like establish that scene, establish that concept that like, you know, things were bad here. This is going to be much less detailed lore and much more general lore of everything, but I think it's still going to be valuable here. Are we not here? Okay. Well, I was just on a different I'm sorry, computer. I got mad and that was unfair of me. We'll just say let's do the 14 to examine the wreckage more closely for answers. Say the patterns of these claw marks align with what you've heard about in actually we'll say what you've seen and known about various birds of prey such as eagles and hawks. However, the size suggests that whatever creature caused this damage was likely big enough to fly away with one of the elephants outside. Your only, we'll say your only peace of mind comes from knowing that if such a creature was still around these parts, you would likely be aware, as it would rival the size of the dragon you met not too long ago, right? Because this whole thing starts off with them encountering a dragon, right? And that's like kind of the dragon gives them their quest. So it's like they have encountered a dragon. The size of this bird, and it's that. And so it's like the idea is that it's just giving them lore about like just kind of building a picture of just like how insane things have been around here, right? And it's like the point is to just kind of establish and lend a little bit of credence, a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Credibility to you know the level of danger and insanity that Sis has been dealing with since being in charge here. And so like I'm putting that last sentence in there to try and ease their mind. I'm not trying to do like a red herring, like, oh, maybe you'll have to fight a giant eagle thing. Like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to paint a picture of just like things were bad and Sis was alone in dealing with that, you know. And if this is what he was up against, maybe he can be forgiven for being a little off his rocker, is sort of the idea that I'm trying to go with there. So I think that's good. I feel content with that. And I'm looking at the time, and that brings us to like a really good time to call it a session. So I'm going to bring us over to chatting here. Mush. And there we go. So thank you so much for everyone who stopped by and stuck with me for like 4 hours of writing. I guess 3.5 because I started a little late, but still. I personally kind of like this. I like this. It felt a lot easier to just kind of get some momentum going. And I felt like it was easier for me to just sort of like not be distracted and worried about what I was writing and just kind of go and get to work. So I kind of like this. I mean, you know, certainly always like let me know if you agree, disagree, whatever. You know, I'll take it all into consideration. But I liked this. This was, at the very least, it was a good change to do it this way every now and then. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I feel like we got a lot of really good stuff written. And that makes me pretty happy. I like being productive. I like getting some cool stuff written down. So yeah, there we go. Again, thank you so much to everyone who stopped by. Let's see here. If you want to let me know what your thoughts are, or if you just want to chat with me about D&D stuff and all that kind of stuff in general, you can always find me on my Discord. I've got my Discord server. You know, I like interacting with people. I like sharing thoughts and ideas and notes about homebrew stuff. You guys have awesome ideas. I love hearing those ideas from people. And I also put little announcements and little updates about what's going on with the stream there. So get yourself connected with that if you're interested in staying in the loop about everything. You can also, if you just want to get updates and stuff, you can follow me on Twitter. Envira streams on Twitter. I also share stupid thoughts that go through my idiot brain from time to time. So, you know, if that's what you're into, go follow me there. I also have an Instagram. I've been kind of using that as a fun way for me to just share other cool things that are going on in my life that really don't have a place on the stream, you know. So lots of cat pics, you know, lots of footage of me doing rock climbing and kickboxing and stuff like that. We're getting towards some summer months, and I know I've got a lot of, you know, friends and family and everyone that I'm wanting to go on some adventures with, and my intent is to try and get some videos and images of like the different adventures that I go on. So if that stuff is interesting to you, you can follow me on Instagram, EnviroBoy Streams. And then the last plug is I do have my YouTube channel. If you want to see other stuff I've written, you know, if you want to go back and see that kind of stuff, if you want to watch stuff that I've done for gaming, or if you like these things but you know you can't hang around for the next stream live, then you know check out my YouTube channel, EnviroBoy on YouTube. I put all my VODs up there, free for everyone to just watch all my stuff. So go check it out there if that suits your lifestyle a little bit better. You know, everyone's got their own thing. Some people just like that YouTube life, so go check that out. Or if you're already watching on YouTube, then check me out live sometime if that's what you're about. But that's all my plugs. So I am going to this week definitely stick with my usual schedule of Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, starting at 11:30 a.m. going until 3:30 p.m. As always, that is subject to change. There might be pauses, there might be changes in that schedule based on what work does. Work has been super busy lately, and it drives me insane. And it's all a bunch of useless meetings that people keep scheduling, but you know I got to be there. So my schedule is subject to change. But I'm going to do my best to stick with that usual schedule. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time zone is when we start. This week, I'm going to be trying to do like we did today. And then on Thursday, just like the full 4 hours of writing. And then Tuesday and Friday, the full 4 hours of gaming is kind of what I want to try doing. So tomorrow, we'll be doing a lot of gaming. We're going to continue our run through of all of the Halos. I've been having so much fun with those. We're going to keep trying to go with that. Hopefully people will enjoy that as much as I do, but I've been having fun with it, so we're going to stick with that. So that's what's coming up tomorrow. The other thing, too, is like I did last night, throughout the week this week, I want to try and do occasional evening streams, too, where I'll just kind of game. I'll play a different game than what I'm playing during the days and stuff like that, but it's just a way for me to be able to do a little bit more streaming, you know, maybe reach a few other people who have a hard time watching in the middle of the day and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for those. Those are going to be a little less scheduled, a little more when I have the time to. Probably not tonight because tonight's D&D night with my buds, but maybe tomorrow night, you know, maybe tomorrow night, especially now that I'm still kind of recovering and recovering from a head injury. So I will not be training kickboxing as hard. So I'm less likely to stay there late to get extra work, might get home earlier on those nights to do some streaming and stuff like that. But, you know, it's all just kind of in flux, and it's just, like I say, it's me experimenting and just having fun with it. So if you want to come along with me on that ride and have some fun, then just, you know, pay attention to Discord or Twitter or whatever, or get the alerts on Twitch or whatever suits you. And just, you know, keep your eyes and ears peeled, and, you know, we can hang out and do some more streaming and stuff. But it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. I'm having such a blast with streaming, and it gets more fun every time I do it. I love doing it. I have so much fun with this. So thank you so much to everyone who stopped by. Appreciate you guys to no end. I cannot say it enough how much I appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me. And yeah, just keep being awesome people, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. So until then, take it easy, and I'll catch you cats on the flip side.